Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. Wherever you're at in the world, welcome to Last Rouse Baseball's live commentary of the Nippon Professional Baseball League. Tonight, we're going to bring you a Pacific battle between the Hokkaido Nippon-Ham Fighters and the Orix Buffaloes. It is at the Kyocera Dome in Osaka. We're going to give you the starting lineups, first of all, from the visitors from Hokkaido. Leading off tonight and in right field is number 53, Shun Mizutani. Batting second at first base is number 21, Kotaro Kiyomiya. Hitting third and playing third base is number 30, Yuya Gunji. And the cleanup spot and doing the designated hitting is number 99, Franmil Reyes. Batting fifth in left field is number 5, Yuki Nomura. Hitting sixth and playing second is number 38, Kazishi. Batting in the seventh spot and doing the catching is number 64, Yua Tamiya. Batting eighth in at shortstop is number 59, Sho Yamagata. And batting ninth in center field is number 50, Ryota Isabata. They're going to be facing Ryuhei Satani, who takes to the hill with an 8-6 record. He's worked 98 and 2/3 innings. He's allowed 99 hits, 44 runs, 41 of which have been earned, walking 23 and striking out 84, pitching to an ERA of 3.79. That's your starting lineup for the visitors from Hokkaido. Now your starting lineup for the home team, Orix Buffaloes. Leading off and in left field tonight, wearing number 30 is Taisi Haruka. Batting second and doing the designated hitting is number 7, Ryoma Nishikawa. Hitting third at second base is number 31, Ryo Oda. Batting in the cleanup spot and at first base is number 44, Yuma Tongu. Batting in the fifth spot and playing third base is number 6, Yuma Mune. Hitting in the sixth spot in right field is number 99, Yataro Sugimoto. Batting seventh and doing the catching is number 2, Kenya Wakatsuki. Batting in the eighth spot and at shortstop is number 10, Koji Oshiro. And batting ninth and in center field, wearing number 8, is Yusuke Mugatani, and they're going to be facing the left-hander of the fighters. It's going to be Takashi Kato, who takes to the hill. He also has an 8-6 record. He's worked 103 and 2/3 innings, allowed 111 hits. He has given up 40 runs, 38 of which have been earned, walking 12 and striking out 48, pitching to a 3.30 ERA. It is the second game of the series tonight, and we are going to bring it to you in just a couple of moments on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. Stick around, everybody. We got lots of baseball here tonight. The first pitch ceremonies are just being completed, and the first pitch is just a couple moments away. It is the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel giving you the Buffaloes and the Fighters when we return right after this. Welcome back, everybody. It is a second game of the series, as last night Arn Curry had got the start for the Buffaloes, going 6 strong innings, and then it was Saiki, Iwasaki, and Machado to finish the deal for the Buffaloes, pacing them to a 2-0 victory over the Fighters. Tonight it is game 2 of the matchup, as both of these two clubs are in playoff contention. The Fighters have first place on their minds as the Buffaloes are looking to try to secure that third spot. They have themselves, the Buffaloes, a 5.5 game over the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. The Fighters are 3 games behind the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks, and this could be an early preview of the playoffs yet to come. Well, we are ready to get this one underway, as it'll be leading off for the Fighters, Mizutani, Kiyomiya, and Gunji, as the lefty Satani is ready to get this one going, and the first pitch underway is a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Mizutani. Mizutani hitting .265 on the year, 11 homers and 35 runs batted in. As the lefty ready to go again, our friend from the Philippines is back, and Derek Charbonneau is back as well. We welcome you guys to the stream. There's a breaking ball missing down it, and the count is 1-1. Still feeling a little jet lagged. I was up at about 3:45 this morning. Got a chance to see 3 games when I was in Taiwan. A little different atmosphere than what I anticipated. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. The cheerleaders and the cheer squad, they sing during the game. And while the offense is up there, unlike in the Japanese league where they do it during the game, they sing during the game with the loudspeakers and the music blaring. It's a little bit strange. So here comes the 1-2 pitch to Mizutani as the lefty holds set and now fires. It's a breaking ball, swung on and missed. It's down in the dirt. It's stopped by Wakatsuki, and he tags Mizutani as he's trying to get out of the batter's box. So gone for the first out of the inning is batter number 1, and that'll bring up the first baseman in Kentaro Kiyomiya. Derek said, hope you had a great time. It was actually better than advertised. Had a lot of fun. It was very, very interesting to see Taiwan and to see some baseball there. Certainly got a chance to see. I saw 5 of the 6 teams and saw 3 of the 7 stadiums that they play in. As the first pitch is on the way, it's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away. The count's 0-1 to Kiyomiya. Kiyomiya hitting .258 on the year, 9 homers and 52 runs batted in. There are a couple of Taiwanese players who are playing for the Fighters, including Gulin Ryu Yang, if I've said that properly. He was the MVP last year in the Taiwanese league, as there's a ground ball chop foul down the first baseline, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Kiyomiya. The other one is Sunyi Lai, or Lei, if I've said his last name properly. We got a chance to see him pitch on one of the previous streams we did of the Fighters. Has some interesting stuff, but very temperamental on the mound. He and his catcher were going at it a little bit in terms of the pitches that were being called. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. As again, it is delivered, and it is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2 to Kiyomiya. But one of the things that I'd learned is one of the typhoon that rolled through Taiwan a couple of months ago has put the commission in Tainan, or put the stadium in Tainan out of commission, as it had their roof blown off. So here comes the 0-2 pitch as the lefty holds to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. Breaking ball misses down and away, and the count now goes to 1-2. We'll put a little damper on something. And our Filipino friend says that, meanwhile, in the Central League, the Tigers have the number 1 spot secured. Yeah, it's pretty much a mathematical formality. I think there's maybe only a couple of games in that magic number. It'd have to be the worst collapse in history if that was to fall apart. There's a pitch. It's a breaking ball that misses down and away. And the count now goes to 2-2 on Kiyomiya. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. But it is good to be back, and certainly in North American time, got to get ourselves back on track with some of the games we'll be back on again tomorrow. There's a breaking ball swung on and another one lifted foul. This is into the seats behind that temporary seating down the left field line. Our friend Justin is asking the questions in here. Anywhere you can actually watch it. Yeah, depending on what country you're in, you sure can. You can watch it on DAZN if you're parked over in Asia. There's a fastball that just misses on the outside corner, and the count now is full at 3-2. Derek says, glad to hear you had a great time and missed your streams. Well, we appreciate you, Derek. Yeah, a couple of weeks, certainly for sure. It was interesting. They did have games on DAZN. There was also another channel down in Kaohsiung that would play a lot of the Chinese league games. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded down the first base line. First base umpire said it was fair, fielded neatly by the first baseman, Tongu, who flips it over to Satani covering. It's a ground out 3-1 for the second out of the inning. That's going to bring up the third baseman in Yuya Gunji. Our good friend Gracie Lynn, who listens in, she made some suggestions to me. And one thing that will more than likely be able to cut out some of the nonsense is a little bit of the, little bit of the stations. There's a fastball that swung on and missed. The count is 0-1 to Gunji. Set it up where it is in subscriber mode only. And so hopefully that'll be able to make that set up and work, but I don't always know if that's for sure. Arthur said, let's go Buffaloes. So he's actually pumping his fist for the Buffaloes. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes even at 1-1. But watching the Taiwanese League, I was one of the games that I saw. The pitcher had a perfect game through 6 2/3. The team had a no-hitter into the eighth inning. And of course, they ended up collapsing. That was the game I saw on Wednesday night. Breaking ball, take it for a called strike. The count now goes to 1-2. But they do have some power arms. That particular pitcher who threw for the Dragons that night was sitting on 95 for the first 6 innings, and he lost, I'd say, about 3 or 4 miles an hour off his fastball into the 7th. As the lefty holds again to the set, as he's pitching with nobody on from the set position, the pitch is delivered. It is lifted down the right field line. It's going to drift into the temporary seating, and the count is going to remain at 1-2 to Yuya Gunji. Gunji having a pretty good year for the Fighters, hitting .296 with those 7 homers and 34 RBIs. The Fighters are going to have to try to unlock the key to success here against the Buffaloes tonight. Our friend NY Napoli says, who's the favorite? You know, I have to be honest, I didn't check the odds before this game tonight. And I would guess in this one here, I don't know who the favorite is, but I would be leaning Fighters in this one. And there's a breaking ball, take it for a called third strike. Oh, Gunji, watch that one go by. He's gone for out number 3. And just like that, the first 10 innings of the series are all the same for the Fighters. There's no runs here, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're through a half inning. Your score is the Fighters 0 and the Buffaloes coming to bat. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back with the call in just a couple moments on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. It is Fighters and Buffaloes going to the bottom of the first when we return. Welcome back, everybody. Takashi Kato has completed his tune-up tosses, and we're ready to resume the action. It'll be Haruka, Nishikawa, and Oda to come to bat to face him here in the first inning, and the first pitch is a breaking ball that is swung through and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Haruka batting .262 on the year, 7 homers and 24 runs driven in. As the lefty Kato kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on it, is popped up over on the left side of the infield. Playable there for the shortstop, who's camped underneath it, and Yamagata is going to make the catch and put Haruka away for out number 1. 1 up and 1 away. I do like Kato. I saw Kato pitch last year when I was in Saitama. I saw him live. Very crafty, really is able to mix speeds effectively, works both sides of the plate, able to go inside and outside with his pitches. And at 33 years old right now, he is, I would say, arguably at the maybe back end of his prime. He's put together a lot of productive seasons for the Fighters. As the lefty kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses inside to Nishikawa. Ryoma Nishikawa hitting .314 on the year with 5 homers and 37 runs driven in. Thinking about Kato in particular, as there is a breaking ball that swung on and missed, the count runs even to 1-1. Kato began his career in the NPB with the Fighters back in 2016, and every year, including the pandemic year, with the exception of this year, he has got at least 21 appearances, 21 starts for the Fighters as the 1-1 pitch is on the way. There's a breaking ball that is called a strike by the home plate umpire. He said that Nishikawa had went around, so 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. But he's been very, very steady in terms of an innings eater. There was only in 2020 where he threw 58 innings, and in 2019 he threw 92. But for the most part, including this year, he has thrown 5 consecutive years of 100 or more innings and 7 of the last 9, which is pretty impressive. As that breaking ball was chopped foul, and the count remains at 1-2 to Nishikawa. Lefty again ready to deliver. He kicks and fires. It's a fastball that misses inside. Count now 2-2 to the designated hitter of the Buffaloes. Our friend Harrison in the house tonight. We welcome you. As the pitch is on the way. And there's a breaking ball that just misses down and away, and the count runs full. Our friend New York Napoli asked the question if it's on Dingo. That I don't know. I don't usually look at Dingo. It's not in my psyche to do that, so somebody else will have to answer that for you. As the 3-2 is on the way. That is a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul over into the seats on the third base side. And the 3-2 continues here to Nishikawa. Our Filipino friend, is it me or did the Hawks go back to their winning ways? Yeah, the Hawks have just sort of machine-like been able to grind out win after win after win. I haven't seen enough of the Hawks this year, but boy, they get healthy, they're going to be pretty darn good. There's a fastball swung on, grounded up the middle, almost hit the pitcher, but the ball had some eyes as Nishikawa's got himself a base hit, and he is aboard with a 1-out single, and that's going to bring up the second baseman in Ryo Oda. Well, for Oda, he's hitting .298 on the year. He's got 8 homers and 47 runs batted in. Arguably enjoying his best year as a player in the NPB. Tomorrow night, we're going to be back on the airwaves again, and we're going to be doing the Dragons and the Giants. So we'll bounce over to the Central League for some action. Our friend Mariano in the house. And there is a breaking ball that misses up and away to Oda, and the count is 1-0. He says his friend's having the worst betting history of his life. Doesn't tail any of my picks. How do I help him? Yeah, don't give him any money. Keep losing your money and then let him go and do that. So 1 ball and no strikes as the lefty kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to second. Fielded neatly by the second baseman. Ishii goes to second for 1, back to first, and that's going to be an inning-ending double play. It is going to be of the 4-6-3 variety, and that will do it here for the Buffaloes in their half of the first inning. Well, they get no runs in the inning. They did have a hit, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're now through one complete. Your score is the Fighters 0 and the Buffaloes 0. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few right after this with more action.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now.
Welcome back, everybody. It is going to be coming to bat for the Fighters, the heart of the order. It'll be Orix, Nomura, and Ishii. As our friend Ezza says, how do I watch this? Well, you'll have to, if you got yourself DAZN, go check it out. But the problem is for a lot of people, it's going to have to be, you're going to have a VPN. Because I don't know if DAZN's carrying stuff anymore in the United States. I know they're doing it over in Japan in Taiwan as well, as we just came back. And of course, it's on regular TV if you're fortunate enough to get DAZN carried in your package. Some of the other games like NHK or the other stations like TBS and NHK often carry the games. So this is going to bring Franmil Reyes to the plate. Reyes hitting 284 on the year, 28 homers and 90 runs driven in. Big fella should crack the 30 home run mark, one would guess. And the first pitch is a fastball missing upstairs for ball one, count as 1-0. 17 pitches in the first inning for the lefty Satani. As he kicks and delivers, there is a fastball swung on, and it just shatters the bat as it was hit off the end of the bat, and it loops into center field for a base hit. So Franmil Reyes aboard with a leadoff single here to start the second inning. But that bat has died itself 1,000 deaths. And will no longer be of any service to anyone. So base hit into center field. As Reyes is aboard, that will bring to the plate Yuki Nomura. Well, for Nomura, he's hitting 267 on the year, 8 homers and 33 runs driven in. As he bats from the right side here, the 25-year-old left fielder on the first offering from Satani. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted down the right field line, but it's going to slice well into the seats, and the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and one strike. Lefty ready to go again as he works himself to the belt, and here comes the 0-1 offering. As he kicks and delivers, it's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. One ball and one strike to Nomura. Nomura hitting from that right side here against the lefty Satani. Then look tonight to see if the big boss has decided to load up a more right-handed hitting lineup. Battle of two left-handers here as that fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count now goes to 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, as we look ahead to tomorrow, as we said, the Dragons and the Tigers are going to go head-to-head. And we'll skip over for the action in that one. It'll be Matsuba versus Yokokawa. Here comes the 1-2 pitch as the lefty kicks and fires. It's a breaking ball that misses down and in, and the count now goes to 2-2. It'll be Yamashita going for the Buffaloes tomorrow night. And it will be a Ren who takes to the hill for the Fighters. So interesting pitching matchup there. Ren making only his 5th appearance of the year. putting his perfect 3-0 record on the line. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. As the lefty delivers, there's a fastball swung on and lifted foul down the right field line, and the count remains at 2-2. Our friend Harrison says 3-0 for the Dragons. The Dragons really have the number of the Giants. If you go back and look over the last 7 to 10 years, it's just how often that the Dragons are usually on the winning side of that matchup. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. It's a breaking ball swung on. It is looped softly over the head of the leaping shortstop. Good effort there by Oshiro, but he's not able to come down with it. It's a single for Nomura. That's going to have Reyes reach second on the single. So runners are at first and second with nobody out. It brings up the second baseman in Kaz Ishii. Okapiz says, who is running worse than current Ronnie Koeman? Took the Fighters money line. Who are they going to win? Well, the Fighters are definitely threatening right now. And they got a chance to put the first runs on the board here. Ishii stepping in, hitting .261 with 4 homers and 24 RBIs. As I said, I looked at the pitching matchup tonight, and I looked at potential for a victory, and it looked like it could be the Fighters. There's a fastball swung on and hammered into left field. That's going to get a run in. Nice play over in right field, by the right fielder, and that is Sugimoto. Gets over to cut it off. He fires it in, but Reyes is going to score the first run of the ball game. So a base hit here by Ishii. He knocks in the first run. Reyes has given the Fighters a 1-0 lead. And if you put your money down on the Fighters, you probably blew or exhaled pretty deeply there. I have to say, the big fellow Reyes, he ran pretty good getting around third base. A lot better than I expected. As it is a double here for Ishii. And that is going to advance Nomura over to third, and they're still threatening the Fighters here with runners at second and third and nobody out. Well, that brings Yua Tamiya to the plate. Tamiya hitting .279 on the season, 5 homers and 17 RBIs. But that's not exactly what they're looking for here. A base hit or a ground ball to the right side should be able to do the trick just the same. The infield is in at the corners, but the shortstop and second baseman are playing deep. So trading the run for the out potentially on ground ball up the middle is probably in effect. First pitch fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Tamiya. Tamiya taps both sides of the plate. Gets himself dug in, ready to get the offering here from the left-hander Satani. Against the sign from Wakatsuki, he works himself up to the belt. And here comes the 0-1 pitch. Kicks and delivers, fastball swung on and missed. Count now goes to 0-2, so no balls and 2 strikes. Our Filipino friend, the Giants are always choking against the Dragons. Yeah, that is chronic. As I said, if you go back and you look over the last few years, the Dragons just have their number. Giants could go out and play the Tigers and sweep them and do all kinds of damage, but they cannot beat the Dragons. Fastball misses way outside. It's now 1-2 to Tamiya. Top of the second inning, the Fighters have got an early 1-0 lead. But I would say this, Cato, my money is not on him to go much further than 6 innings tonight. If he even gets through the 6th, he is usually a quick hook, but you never know. He might be able to get it stretched out a little bit with some runs. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. On its way, it's a breaking ball swung on and missed, and they're going to have to take a look because he didn't catch it, did Wakatsuki. He's going to throw to first base. It's going to be a strikeout, 2-3 on the putout. I had to keep an eye at the runner at third base as Nomura Holds his ground. That is going to bring up the shortstop in Sho Yamagata. Well, for Yamagata, he's hitting .223 on the season. He's got a homer and 6 runs batted in. This might be a situation that you want to keep an eye on the potential for a squeeze. Not sure what Yamagata's bunting ability is like. Certainly Isabata, who's on deck, would be a better option. But I'd like to try to push another run across with the Fighters. Easy pitch that is swung on and screwed into the ground for a foul ball. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to the light-hitting shortstop of the Fighters. Again, the lefty Satani getting his sign from his catcher Wakatsuki. He's ready to go again. Works a little bit slower out of the stretch. Yeah, really holds the ball quite a long time. Here's the pitch. It's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count remains at 0-2. So again, tapping himself back into the batter's box, Yamagata looking to continue this battle here. He did get a double play ball off the bat of Uetamiya. Or sorry, it was off the Tamiya had struck out. It was the batter before hit the double, Ishii, knocking home the first run of the ball game as that fastball swung on and fouled away. Count is 1-2. As I said the other day, we got in last night late and ended up getting about 4 hours of sleep. Was up at 3:45 in the morning. It was pretty amazing. And then, of course, not being able to get much of a nap this afternoon. So this one here, trying to stay up as long as we can tonight so we can stay with you tomorrow night for that Giants and the Dragons. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball down. Good stop there by the catcher Wakatsuki. It runs the count to 1-2. We will keep you updated on the scores from around the NPB tonight, as there is a full slate of games. Not all the games are going off at this time. It's the other game that we'll keep an eye on is the Hawks and the Eagles locked up at 0s. And fans of the Buffaloes will be watching that one as well, as are the fans of the Fighters. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball down. It gets away from the catcher. Good job and presence of mind by the pitcher to come in to cover. Wakatsuki chases it down. Runs the count now to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. So the pitcher Satani gets himself a new baseball as that one was in the dirt. He rubs it up, ready to go again. As he leans in, gets that sign from Wakatsuki, trying to get himself out of this jam. Runners are at second and third, 1 gone. Here comes the 2-2 pitch to Yamagata. As he kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2-2. And it looks like Yamagata is walking back to the dugout. He may have to get himself a new piece of lumber. It was a bit of a cutter. I don't know. It kind of looked like he had. I'm not sure what he did on that one. Is Yamagata going to be done? That's going to be, he's gone for the, I thought he'd fouled that piece off, but nope. He's going to be gone for the second strikeout of the inning. So 2 in the books here. It's going to bring Ryota Isabata to the plate. So Satani trying to get himself out of the jam here. After back-to-back hits to start the inning, he's got back-to-back strikeouts. And here's the pitch to Isabata. It's a first pitch breaking ball waved out and missed. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Isabata was really stuck at 19 stolen bases for quite a while, and now he's crossed that mark and he's got himself at 23. But he has been caught stealing 9 times. Makes you wonder a little bit if, yeah, we know he's got all the speed, but is it a timing issue? How is he getting these slower jumps or the pad reads off of the pitchers? As there's a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count now goes to 0-2 on Isabata. Isabata, when we've seen the Fighters play, he usually hits in the top spot in the batting order, but he has had himself a little bit of a downward spiral lately. And there's a breaking ball swung on it. His chop foul over on the third base side. Isabata's averaged 251 on the year with a homer and 18 RBIs. As we said, he is known for his wheels and the stolen base department. So we'll see how he fares here. So here comes the 0-2 offering as Isabata waits. As the lefty Satani holds to the set. 0-2 on the way. Pitch coming. Breaking ball down. Good stop there by Wakatsuki as he had to push off and really slide to deflect that ball back to home plate, going toward the third base side. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Satani shaking off his catcher, Wakatsuki. Now he gets the sign that he likes. As he works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and fires. Breaking ball way outside. They're going to appeal down to the first base or third base umpire. No, they're not. I don't know. I thought Isabata really looked like he went after the pitch. The home plate umpire didn't seem to be as concerned. We'll get a look at the replay on that. Well, maybe he did hold it up. I'd like to see the side angle. That would have told the whole story. I do have the open base, but it'll be the top of the order. Mizutani waiting on deck. And here comes the 2-2 offering. Again, the lefty holding set. Kicks and fires. Fastball swung on and missed. That's a pretty good comeback. So allows 3 hits to start the inning and then back-to-back-to-back strikeouts to end it here in the second. 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 3 hits. There was no errors and there was 2 runners left aboard. Your scores, we move now to the bottom of the second inning. It is the Fighters with a 1-0 lead over the Buffaloes. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action on the Last Rouse Baseball YouTube channel. We're going to take just a quick extended timeout, and we'll be back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. It is the bottom of the second inning, and coming to bat will be Yumatangu Yumamune and Yataro Sugimoto as the Buffaloes find themselves in a 1-0 deficit. It is the first time in 11 innings the Fighters have been able to figure out Buffalo pitching with that run in the top of the second. So it'll be the 4, 5, and 6 men to come to the plate for the Buffaloes here in inning number 2. So Kato ready to go, as is his catcher Tamiya, is getting himself set as Tongu. Tongu hitting .251 on the year. He's got himself 10 homers and 48 runs batted in. Slow breaking ball misses up and away, and the count is 1-0 to Tongu. We mentioned that Tongu was anointed the captain of the team this year. As the 1-0 is on the way, there's a fastball taken for a called strike, and the count goes even at 1-1. Seen different players that have anointed the C on a number of different teams over the last few years. Tongu, of course, being recognized as the captain. There's a ground ball hit softly into the 6 hole at short. Fielding it on the backhand and making a heck of a throw across the diamond is the shortstop Yamagata, but they're not able to get Yuma Tongu, not like he's a fleet-of-foot runner, but just the opportunity to be able to throw him out. What a play there by Yamagata. We'll get a look at the replay ourselves, and it does look like the call was correct. Sugimoto had made it safely, so I'll agree with the umpire there. So that puts a runner at first here to lead off the second inning. It's going to bring Yuma Mune to the plate. Mune on the season hitting .251, 10 homers and 48 RBIs. It looks like his home run pop is back in the stick after it took a bit of a hiatus. There's a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Looking at Mune's career, as we were doing our home run or our topics a little bit, looking at the different pieces of his game. Known more for his glove than anything else. There's a fastball swung on, grounded to second. They go to second for 1, back to first. That's going to be a double play. It's a 4-6-3 variety again, the same as the end of the first inning. That's going to lead to 2 outs here for the Buffaloes in their half of the inning. And that'll bring up the right fielder in Yataro Sugimoto. Mune in particular this year with his, actually he's got 6 home runs and 28 RBIs. I thought he had a 10. I had it down as a 10. I was looking at the number of doubles that he hit. As the lefty kicks and delivers, does Kato fastball swung on a tap foul behind home plate. Mune has never hit more than 9 home runs in a year, and that would have been in the 2021 season. All the rest of his years, this would be the second highest total with 6. Here's the 0-1. There's the breaking ball that misses way outside. The count is 1 to Sugimoto. Sugimoto with that .266 average, 15 homers and 48 RBIs. Does much better against left-handed pitching than right-handed. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into straightaway center field. Camping out underneath it is Isabata, and he's there to make the catch. And that is going to do it here for the third inning for the Buffaloes. They had no runs. They had 1 hit. There was no errors, and there was nobody left aboard. Your score as we move now to the top of the third inning, it is the Fighters 1 and the Buffaloes no score. Stay with us, everybody. I'm just going to take a little extended break here. We're going to put the music on loop. We have to go and make a change of our own when we return right after this musical timeout.
Shall we begin? Let's begin now. Let's begin now. Shall we begin? Let's begin now.
Welcome back, everybody. Just an extended break for our end. It'll be the top of the order coming up for the fighters. It'll be Mizutani, Kiyomiya, and Gunji to face the lefty Satani. As the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses way upstairs. The count is 1-0. Mizutani 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. Batting for the second time here against the lefty. Satani holds to the set position. Here comes the offering. That is a fastball swung on and fouled straight back. Oh, Mizutani was right on the pitch. Curious to see what Satani does through the second time through the order. Once the teams has had a decent look at him, if he is going to change what his approach is. He's been pretty good here tonight. Fastball, breaking ball, but I'm wondering if his work rate and his attack rate is going to go up here. Here's a fastball that misses way upstairs. The count is 2-1. So 2 balls and a strike. He's already thrown 45 pitches, has the lefty. And 30 of them have been for strikes. So he has been around the zone. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count goes to 3-1. It's a pretty good mark to live at, 2/3 strikes. And you'd have to wonder of the pitches that weren't strikes, how many were spotted up where he wanted it to be. Sometimes as chase pitches or pitches out of the zone. There's a fastball swung on it. It's driven into deep right field. Moving back in front of the warning track, but there to make the catch is Sugimoto, and that is going to retire Mizutani for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. It'll bring up Kotaro Kiyomiya to the plate. Well, for Kiyomiya, he's 0 for 1. He grounded the first, his first time up. Satani looks like he is now settling into a groove. He's retired 4 straight now of the fighters' hitters. So the lefty working himself to the belt. Here comes the first pitch. It is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and a strike. Lefty delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. Is lifted into left field. And this ball is going to get down in front of Haruka. I have to say, it didn't look like it was the best jump. I think Haruka may have misjudged his jump a little bit. He started in, and then he ended up having to go back on the ball, make a little bit of a right turn as that was a single for Kiyomiya. Kind of makes me wonder if he had misjudged it off the crack of the bat. I wonder if he would have taken a direct route or stayed with it. If he would have been able to get there, certainly I would have taken that opportunity to try to find out. Well, that brings to the plate Gunji, who is 0 for 1. He struck out looking back in the first inning. 5 strikeouts in the 2 1/3 innings of work so far for the lefty Satani. So there's a fastball at the knees, taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Getting the lefty ready to go. Satani working to the set. This is going to be pitch number 51 of the ball game. And now here we go. Pitch is on the way. Fires. It's a breaking ball swung on and tap foul over on the third base side. So no balls and 2 strikes to Gunji. Gunji wears that shin protector on the left leg there. He's going to need that one to do its work for if he's going to continue to have swings like that. So around the baseball and struggling with a long swing, that's for certain. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. As again, Satani holding set. Really taking his time. Now delivers. Fastball swung on it. Is lifted down the right field line, but it's going to slice into the seats just over top of the netting that is protecting, or the fans in between there and the ones who are in the seating that is, I like to call the temporary seating. It's almost like they've added extra fans, let them be a little closer to the field. See that in quite a few ballparks, not in every park. Enhancing the fan experience, so to believe, or so one would believe. And there is the breaking ball swung on his chop slowly up the middle. They go to second for one, back to first. It's not going to be in time. Gunji is going to beat it out. It's going to be a fielder's choice, 6-4 to Orix Kiyomiya. He's gone for the second out. Gunji safe over at first base, and that'll leave it up to the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. So it's not like they're hitting missiles off of Satani. That one there chopped over his head. So the fielder's choice to put Gunji aboard. Now that brings up Franmil Reyes. Well, for Reyes, he is 1 for 1 tonight. He has singled and scored the only run for the Fighters. Batting from the right side here against the lefty Satani. How important will it be for Reyes to be hot down the stretch, especially in the playoffs? Won't have to think he was going to carry the mail. There's a breaking ball that misses down, and the count is 1-0 to Reyes. Reyes, the big fella here. He's been a couple of years removed from Major League Baseball, but he has definitely found himself a home in Hokkaido. I think if I'm Reyes, I stay right put right there. Here comes the 1-0 pitch as the lefty again works himself to the belt. Pitch on the way. Ooh, there's a fastball. Take it for a called strike. I think Reyes might want that one back. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is. Reyes is tops in the Pacific League in home runs, as he's definitely enjoying himself at 20. So here comes the 1-1 offering to Reyes as the lefty again, Satani holds to the set. And he fires a fastball, take it for a called strike. That was right under the hands, and it moved Reyes off the plate. 1-2 it is now. We're in our regular setup, but we're not in our regular setup, so to speak. When we came back from Asia, we've got a few things that are moved around. We're going to have to try to work out the kinks here tonight for tomorrow night. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. The temperature is a little bit warm here. We're going to have to make an adjustment with our fans. Here's the 1-2. Fastball just misses off the outside corner, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the righty Reyes waiting on the offering here from the lefty as he waggles the bat. Here's the 2-2. Breaking ball swung on, chop foul over on the third base side. The count remains 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, Satani goes down to the rosin bag. He blows it off his hands. He's ready to go again. Some pitchers like the rosin bag, and some pitchers don't. Some people feel it just gives them a little too much grip. Others like the feel of the ball just slipping out of their fingertips. As the lefty works again to the belt, here comes the 2-2. Fastball swung on, lifted into deep right center field. Should be playable. Moving over underneath it is Sugimoto. He's there to make the catch, and that is going to do it as Reyes is going to be gone for the third out of the inning. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was a runner left aboard. Your score as we move to the bottom half of inning number 3. It's the Fighters 1 and the Buffaloes no score. Stay with us, everybody. We're going to give you our friend Matt, but we'll be back in just a couple of moments. We've got to get some fans adjusted here for the call tonight. We'll be right back in just a few.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I'll take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's another Hollis build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, we have half our setup redesigned. We just got to do the other half of the next half inning if we want to stay cool through this one. If not, we're going to have to get the ice cubes out and start putting an ice pack on our heads. It's going to be Wakatsuki, Oshiro, and Mugatani to come to bat here in the bottom half of inning number 3. The Buffaloes have had a base runner in each of the first 2 innings. In each of the first 2 innings, they've been erased on a double play. So Kato has been getting himself some solid defense in behind him. Well, Wakatsuki stepping to the plate. He's hitting .277 on the year, 5 homers and 25 runs batted in. He's having himself a very enjoyable year. Batting from the right side here against the lefty Kato, who kicks and delivers. The first pitch breaking ball is swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1. Curious to see how the Buffaloes lineup will turn out as it gets to the latter part of the season. A couple of regulars not in the lineup tonight. And one of those regulars, of course, is Kotaro Kobayashi, who was in the game last night. As that fastball swung on and lifted to straightaway center field. Wakatsuki's going to be retired for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. That's going to bring up the shortstop in Koji Oshiro. But be curious to see what Tomoya Mori, the plans would be for him. I'm just taking a peek at some of the others that possibly see. I haven't seen Jordan Diaz in the lineup for a bit. He came in a couple of series ago before we went away, and I haven't seen him for a bit. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. I was even watching the Buffaloes play a series when I was in Taiwan, watching them on TV. And you get a chance to see it. Here's the 1 pitch. It's a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. The count now goes to 0-2. And that series, the last one I watched a couple of weeks ago, they were wearing the black pinstripes still, but we've turned the page into the month of September, so a little bit different. There's a fastball that misses outside. Count is 1-2 to Oshiro. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Again, Kato kicks, double clutches, and delivers. There's a breaking ball. Take it for a called third strike. Oshiro, watch that one go by for out number 2. And he's going to bring up now the center fielder in Yusuke Mugatani. First strikeout recorded tonight by the starter Kato. Friend Harrison says, listening and checking out. Are you doing some grocery shopping there, Harrison? Or are you back at school again? I would think that Marist has probably been about a week or so back in. Here's the first offering to Mugatani. It's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over down the third base line. The count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. The lefty Kato kicks and fires. Fastball swung on. This ball is lined into right center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Over to cut it off as Isabata digging for second and challenging the arm is Mugatani, and he's going to slide in safely as the ball gets through. And he is asking for time as he is down in a whole heap of pain. Oh, that's not a good sign, the way he went down. A hustle double. You got to tip your hat to Mugatani. He was coming hard out of the box all the way. He is down, writhing in pain. I wonder if it's his knee, but I don't know if I like the way that he slid. It looked like he slid right on top of his knee. I was just talking about that tonight, saying he could do some serious damage if you're not on your side. So he gets up and walks it around a little bit, but He's a little bit ginger as he's got the trainers that are out there with him. And we're going to see, they're going to do the take him down the tunnel thing. We'll see if he's going to stay in the ball game here, but he looks like he's in a whole host of pain. So hang tight, everybody. We got an injury timeout. We're going to take our little break here. We'll get our fan repositioned. We'll be back to call all the action for you here in just a couple moments. Runner at second base. And a couple gone here in the last of the third. We're just waiting for the player to come back out on the field if he's going to come back. But I can tell you, it looked like a karate chop kick. Sugatani took off. His right leg was fully extended. He ended up sliding on top of his knee. And as he went to slide into the base, the ball came in. And so he was actually turning to try to avoid the ball hitting him. His helmet had popped off. This is a Mugatani. And then when he got up, he was hopping around on his left leg. That is very dangerous. You could tear a meniscus. You could do some cartilage or ligament damage in that knee area the way he slid. And it was funny. It was like he took off in the air and he was flying like a karate kick as he was ready to slide into second base. But I'm going to have to wait here and see what the trainers have to say. But the way that he walked off, it looked like his night might be over. We're going to wait to see what the jurisdiction is here on this one, if they aren't going to have another player come in for him. And while that is taking place, we'll try to do some speculation at our end. I would think that a player that could possibly be in the ball game or could come in for him could be Kai Nakagawa. Nakagawa is on the game sheet. Watanabe is another one. We're going to see what happens. The way it's looking like here, it looks like his day could be finished. Just looking at the other potential outfield options, but I have a feeling that, in my opinion, the best option could be Nakagawa. They're going to get a runner for him. It does look like, although that Ryoma Nishikawa has gone down the hallway. Or is he coming back? Yeah, there he is. And just like that, miraculously, look at Tanny's going to run back out on the field. He gets the round of applause from the home faithful. He nods and bows his head. Although I have to say he's not looking the most gingerly out there, or he doesn't look as the most nimble. He's got the oven mitt on the left hand, and he's ready to go now. I often wonder sometimes what the rationale for the long stoppage would be. Are they doing it because, obviously, for the long stoppage, they want to get a good look at him? Does he need just a couple of moments? Is it to throw the pitcher and his timing off? A little bit of gamesmanship all the way around. Well, here we go back to the action, as it is going to be Haruka at the plate here with 2 out and a runner at second. He popped out to short his first time up. Takes a fastball on the inside corner for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Harrison says, checking out for the night. He says, school has been amazing and lots of math. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 0-2 on Haruka. I'm not sure if I've ever used math and amazing in one sentence, but that's just me. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the right-handed hitting. Haruka waiting on the offering from the lefty Kato, who kicks and fires. Breaking ball in the dirt. Good stop there by the catcher Tamiya as he races out and picks it up. The runner Mugatani did not advance. So 1 ball and 2 strikes it is. Again, waiting on the offering as the lefty again works to the set. Here comes the pitch. 1-2 on the way. Fastball misses inside, and the count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the lefty works himself to the belt. Here's the pitch. That's a fastball swung on and it's sliced down the right field line, but it's going to slice its way into the seats. The count remains at 2-2 to Haruka. Good piece of hitting there by Haruka. That pitch was too close to take. He just fired his bat out and able to spoil the pitch from Kato. So here comes the 2-2 pitch. Again, the lefty working set. Checks the runner over at second. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on, popped up over on the first base side, but it's going to get well into the seats, and the count remains at 2-2. Unlike his counterpart, Kato has been very effective with his pitches here tonight. Lefty has only thrown 34 pitches here in the with 2 outs in the 3rd inning. Again, the lefty works himself to the belt. Now the pitch. Slow breaking ball swung on, lifted into deep right center field, giving chase. And this one's going to get down. It's going to get off the wall in right center field. That's going to score the runner from second base. And Haruka has traded places with an RBI double. And the Buffaloes have pulled even and now knotted up the score at 1 apiece. That ball off the crack of the bat, I have to say it didn't look like it had a lot of carry to it. And it just kept going and going and going. And the outfielders had to keep running. And Waziso Bata was able to chase it down. It's going to bring Ryoma Nishikawa to the plate. And for Nishikawa, well, he is a 1-for-1. Singled his last time up, but he was erased on a double play ball. So Buffaloes looking to threaten again. Runner at second base. 2 gone here. 1 on the board as Nishikawa steps to the dish. So all our Buffalo fans who've come in here to listen tonight, it's a pretty good way to get your fist pumps going because they are doing some damage here against the Fighters. The other game that we were checking in on that has some importance to this one is that game between the Fukuoka SoftBank Hawks and the Tohoku Rakuten Golden Eagles. There's been more scoring in that one. It is 2-0 for the Hawks over the Eagles. There's a first pitch breaking ball taken for a called strike. It counts 0-1 to Nishikawa. 2-0 for the SoftBank Hawks. 1-1 in the game here and 4-1 now as the Dragons have re-extended their lead against the Giants. Who'd have thunk it? Here comes the 0-1 offering. It is a breaking ball that catches the inside corner, and the count now goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. I generally consider the games and the pace of the games. You can get a game in under 3 hours, hour for the first 3, hour for the second 3, an hour for the third 3. You're doing pretty good. There's a breaking ball waved and missed. And Nishikawa down on strikes for the 3rd out of the inning. Just to finish my thought, we are just a bit outside of that window right now. There was 1 run in the inning on the benefit of 2 hits. There was no errors and 1 runner left aboard. We're now through 3 complete. It is the Fighters 1 and the Buffaloes 1. Stay with us, everybody. The top of the 4th inning is just around the corner. We'll be back to give it with you in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. The middle of 3 frames are upon us, and it is going to be the 5, 6, and 7 hitters to come to bat for the Fighters. It'll be Nomura, Ishii, and Tamiya to face the left-hander Satani, who in his own way has been pretty good tonight for the Fighters. He has recorded 5 strikeouts in his first 3 innings. But every inning, he has allowed at least 1 runner to reach base. He has had the benefit of some pretty good defensive play. And we're still waiting on Mizutani to get to the field, as everybody else had completed their tune-up tosses. He was getting some more treatment in the dugout for that left knee. Well, I'll have to say it was his left knee, because it sure looked like the way that he was hobbling around was causing the problem. Well, it looks like the Buffaloes have that sorted out, and we are ready to resume the action. And it is going to be Nomura, Ishii, and Tamiya to come to bat. Nomura 1 for 1 tonight. He singled his last time up, but he was stranded at third. As the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that drops in for a called strike, and the count is quickly 0-1. With that hit back in the first inning, Nomura's raised his season average to 269. Again, the lefty kicks and fires. There's a fastball swung on a hammered foul down the left field line. Count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. Again, the lefty working himself to the belt. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Satani, you could have a drink. You could probably have a slice of pizza and still wait for him to deliver. 1 ball and 2 strikes it is to Nomura. Well, lefty ready to go again as he works himself to the belt, kicks and fires. Fastball swung on and missed, and in the books is Nomura. He's gone for strikeout number 1 here in the 4th inning. And that in the ball game is the 6th strikeout recorded by the lefty Satani. And that is going to bring up the second baseman in Kazunori Ishii. And the first pitch to Ishii is swung on and it's hammered into right field. Is it? No, not quite. Just missing the highlights. I'm missing a good game out here today. I got to tell you, everybody, this has been a struggle for me. We talked about earlier that we were in Taiwan, got in late yesterday, got about 3 hours of sleep in. As there is a fastball swung on, grounded over to first, diving, And picking it up is Tongu. He's going to win the race to the bag. It's a ground out to 3 for the second out of the inning. Ishii retired. I was saying about how we ended up getting in on the flight, got in about 7:30, got in about 10 o'clock, 11 to bed. Only got about 3.5 hours of sleep. Now, mind you, in Taiwan right now, the time over there would be, if I'm not mistaken, they're at about a 15-hour difference from my location in North America. So they'd be like at about, I'd say probably, I think it's about 8 p.m. if I'm not mistaken there. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. Count 1-0 to Yua Tamiya. Tamiya struck out his first time up. As the lefty delivers again, there's a breaking ball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 1-1. One thing that I was shocked in Taiwan, more so than in Japan, when I've been in Japan or in Korea, way more scooters on the street in Taiwan. Didn't expect that. One pitch on the way, swung on, lifted into left field. Moving over underneath it and toward the foul line is Haruka. He's there to make the catch. And that is going to do it for the third out of the inning. We're going to do our fourth inning stretch here, it seems like. Maybe we should do our early smoke break, although I don't smoke. No runs in the inning, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We're now moving to the bottom of the fourth inning. Your score is the Fighters 1, the Buffaloes 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. And have to do some more calisthenics to keep the blood flowing. We'll be right back after this timeout. We got ourselves a 1-1 ball game. We are moving to the bottom half of inning number 4. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this timeout. Welcome back, everybody. We are moving to the bottom of the fourth inning. It'll be Oda, Tongu, and Mune to come to bat here to face the lefty Kato, who has been way more effective in his pitches. 38 pitches through 3 innings for him. There was a first pitch fastball that moves Oda off the plate. The count is 1-0. Oda tonight grounded into a double play to end the first inning, his first time up. As the lefty Kato kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into deep right center field. Moving over is Mizutani, and he's got room to make the catch, and he is going to retire Oda for the first out of the inning. So 1 up and 1 away here in the fourth, and I was going to bring up Yuma Tongu to the plate. Well, for Tongu, he is 1 for 1. He was erased in a double play off the Batayuma and Mune his last time up. And the first pitch all the way to Tongu. Fastball swung through and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Looked like Tongu wanted to put a charge into that to give the Buffaloes another run on the board. And the 0-1 coming to Tongu. It is a breaking ball that misses down and away, and the count now goes even at 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Here's the 1-1 pitch. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count now goes to 1-2 on Tongu. Tongu with a slightly open stance. Bit of a leg kick. There's a breaking ball swung on. This ball is driven into deep left field. Racing back and leaping up and making an over-the-shoulder catch is Yuki Nomura. The ball kept carrying and carrying and carrying. Almost carried right over the head of the left fielder, but it was Nomura who was able to haul it in. That's going to replace Tongu for the second out of the inning. I'm not sure I necessarily like the urgency or the route that Nomura had taken to the ball. Nevertheless, he's able to get the out. That is a 1 in the books, or check that, 2 in the books here. It's going to bring up the other Yuma in the lineup. It'll be Yuma Mune. As the first pitch is taken for a called strike, the count's 0-1. Mune also grounded into a double play his first time up. So he's officially 0 for 1 tonight. As the lefty Kato kicks and delivers, there's a breaking ball swung on, and it's going to be hammered into right field, but it's just going to be hooked foul. The count now goes to 0-2 to Mune. I had to say, in real time, it looked like it was a lot closer than what it is, but the replay definitely showed that ball was hooked foul. So here comes the 0-2 pitch to Mune as the lefty Kato kicks and fires. It's a fastball that just misses up and away. Oh, boy. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to Mune. I have to wonder sometimes if the lefties don't always get the best of calls. There's a slow breaking ball swung on it. It is lifted foul down the left field line, and it's going to keep the count at 1-2. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Kato gets a new baseball, goes to the rosin bag. He's ready to go back at it again. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the lefty kicks and delivers, there's a fastball swung on. This is lifted foul over on the third base side. So Yuma Mune going line to line here. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Mune. As the lefty Kato kicks, double clutches and delivers. There's a fastball. Oh, that one looked good. It missed inside. Count is now 2-2. Get a look at the replay on that one. I can see it being a ball for sure. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. This is usually a pitch where it is a moving count. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball that misses down. It's now 3-2 to Mune. This would drive you crackers. A left-hander facing a left-hander, and he's the one who's going to issue the free pass. Not exactly, I think, what the Fighters have had drawn up here. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. As the lefty kicks and fires, as a breaking ball swung on is lifted into right field, moving over underneath it and making the catch is Mizutani. And that is going to do it as Mune is gone for the third out of the inning. But when you look at pitch efficiency and you look at the way that Kato has been able to limit his damage tonight, I think he is probably looking at something that's really been affordable for him, the pitch counts. We'll be back in just a couple minutes. We'll collect ourselves. We're going to the 5th inning. It is a 1-1 ball game. The Fighters are coming to bat. It'll be the 8, 9, and 1 hitters when we return. We'll try to get ourselves a cup of tea going and hopefully be able to keep ourselves awake. Let's get some caffeine rolling it in here tonight. We'll be right back in just a bit. Welcome back, everybody. Satani has completed his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to resume the action as it is the top of the fifth upon us. Yamagata, Isobata, and Mizutani to get things going. Yamagata struck out his first time up as he bats from the right side here against the lefty. 68 pitches through his 4 innings of work. One would have to think you want to try to pump up his numbers a little bit more so they can get themselves into the bullpen. First pitch fastball misses up to Yamagata, and it's ball 1. So 1 ball and no strikes. Lefty Satani working himself to the set. Now he kicks and delivers. There's a fastball that misses upstairs. The count now goes to 2-0. So 2 balls and no strikes. Again, the lefty kicks and fires. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Count now goes to 2-1. 2 balls and 1 strike it is. Interesting that Yamagata got the start at shortstop today for the Fighters, as the pitch on the way is a fastball taken for a called strike. Count goes to 2-2. We were perusing through the final score in last night's ball game, and of course, as we mentioned, the Buffaloes had won that game 2-0. As the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and fouled away, and the count remains at 2 balls and 2 strikes. We're saying about the starters, at least in the case of the Buffaloes, they had started somebody different at shortstop. It was Mizuno, the regular, who got the start last night for the Fighters. So both of the regular shortstops, Kirbayashi and Mizuno, not in the lineup tonight. Fastball swung on, chopped over to short, fielded neatly by the shortstop, Oshiro, who throws to first. That's going to retire Yamagata on a ground out 6-3 for the first out of the inning. So 1 gone. It'll bring up the center fielder in Ryota Isobata. Well, for Isobata, 0 for 1 tonight. He struck out his first time up. So he bats from the left side here against the left-handed throwing Ciani. First pitch, fastball swung on, rolled over to second, fielded on the glove side. Oh, a beautiful play there by the second baseman, Oda, who spins and throws to first. It's going to be a ground out 4-3. That's going to bring up the top of the order in Shin Mizutani. Well, for Mizutani, he's 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and he has flown to right in his 2 trips. This might be what the doctor ordered for Satani, keep his pitch count down. Only at 75 pitches now here in the 5th inning. We'd probably, I would guess, at least another inning, if not 2 more out of him. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball waved out and missed. The count is quickly 0-1 to Mizutani. So no balls and 1 strike. Batting from the right side here against the left-handed throwing Satani. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball waved out and missed. The count now goes to 0-2. So no balls, 2 strikes. Should Mizutani find a way on, it'll be Kiyomiya who will step up to the batter's box. I think you would probably want to pick your poison and choose this hitter to face. There's a breaking ball swung on, grounded over to short, fielded by Oshiro. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. It's a ground out 6-3. Mizutani's gone for the 3rd out of the inning, and that will do it here. Fighters go in order. That is, by our count, 7 in a row retired by the pitching, and it's no runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left the board. We're moving to the bottom of the 5th inning, halfway through this one. We are locked up at 1s. We'll be right back in just a few.
Well, you got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play. But you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole. Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We are moving ourselves to the bottom half of inning number 5, and coming up for the Buffaloes is going to be Sugimoto, Wakatsuki, and Oshiro. As they'll be facing the veteran lefty, the Keiji lefty, and Takashi Kato for the 5th inning. He has completed his tune-up tosses, and we are ready to resume the action here for inning number 5. So I don't know what the over-under was for the first 5 innings, but right now I'm guessing if people are looking for the under, they probably have it here. It'll be Sugimoto coming to bat, although he could change things with one swing of the bat. I didn't take a piece on the over-under for the game either, but I would think in this one here, runs could be at a premium with these two pitchers on the mound. So Sugimoto, Wakatsuki, and Oshiro. This would probably be the most dangerous hitter of the bunch. There's a fastball swung on. It is lifted down the right field line. It's going to slice its way into the seats. The count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike to Sugimoto. The lefty delivers. There is a breaking ball that is swung through and missed, and the count is now 0-2. Sorry, that was the number for Kato. The number for Sato, I'd have to do a double check on. We'll get you at the top of the 6th inning when he comes back out. Breaking ball swung on. This ball is lifted into left field, racing hard and sliding and making the catch is Mizutani. And that is going to retire Sugimoto for the first out of the innings. So he's gone. It's going to bring up Kenya Wakatsuki to the plate. Through 4 innings, Satani was at 68. And by our math, I think he's about 78, if my math is correct. I would think that he's probably got another inning left in him and possibly even 2, depending on how long they want to ride that train. So here comes the first offering from the lefty. There's a breaking ball swung on. It is lifted into right center field. Racing over and making the catch is Mizutani over the shoulder, and that's going to retire Wakatsuki for the 2nd out of the inning. So 2 fly ball outs to the right fielders, and both of them, as we said, to Mizutani, but one coming in and one moving back. We'll see if he can get one moving toward the line on this one here. It's going to bring up the shortstop and Koji Oshiro. Oshiro struck out looking his first time up. So officially 0-for-1 tonight. As the first pitch is a fastball that he throws right by. Oshiro on the count is quickly 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. John Vandendriech, if I said that properly, as there is a pitch that misses outside for ball. The count's 1-1. Thanks for popping in tonight, Josh. Well, hopefully we'll be awake for tomorrow's game. This game here is a bit of a slug for us. Breaking ball swung on and missed. Count's 1-2. We were talking earlier about getting in on a late night flight last night, so I'm still on Asia time. The only problem is North American time, I'm still on that time too, so not getting much sleep here. Here's the 1-2 pitch. Breaking ball misses way outside. The count is 2-2. So we'll get a few hours of sleep in. Hopefully you get about 6 or 7 tonight. Be good to go for that Dragons and Giants game tomorrow. Here's the 2-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, grounded to the right side, fielded neatly by the second baseman, Ishii. He throws to first. And Oshiro is going to be retired on the ground out 4-3 for the 3rd out of the inning. Well, don't look now. Kato has retired by our count, 7 in a row. He has settled in. But that is going to do it here in the 5th inning as the Buffaloes are retired in order 1, 2, 3. No runs, no hits, no errors. And there was nobody left to board. Your score through 5, it is the Fighters 1 and the Buffaloes 1. Stay with us, everybody. We are going to do what we call our Japanese halftime, or some people like to say it's the smoke break in the Japanese league between the 5th and the 6th innings. I don't know how many players still smoke like dragons like they used to, but we're going to take our timeout, put the music on loop. We'll be right back after this timeout.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. Welcome back, everybody. It is a 1-1 ball game through 5 complete innings. Our friend Josh asked the question, who do you personally favor in this game, or does it matter? I don't really care who wins between these two teams. I said before the game, I felt that it was probably the Fighters who I would have given the edge to in this one, just based on the pitching matchup. And they're a tough team to beat 2 games in a row. Of course, they are sitting in 2nd place, and the Buffaloes are nestled in at 3rd place in the Pacific League. So I would think that the Buffaloes at this point, they're fighting for playoff to get to the playoffs. I don't think anybody's going to knock them out. I think that the Eagles are too far behind. I don't think much of the Lions or the Marines at this point. But I do think that they are the team that is going to lock up the 3rd spot. On the flip side of the coin, what's interesting here is Buffalo's building some, I want to say positivity, but making sure that they know that they can play with the Fighters, as this is more and more looking like the team that they will play in the first round of the playoffs. And then, of course, the winner would have to take on the Fukuoka Ball Club if everything stays the way it is. I'm not so sure that the Fighters will overtake Fukuoka, but you never know. We'll have to keep our eye on that through the rest of the campaign. Well, the play, we are in our what we call our Japanese halftime. We're going to be back in just a couple of moments. We appreciate you guys for listening in with us here on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be back as soon as this timeout wraps up. Looks like we have a couple of changes, and we'll see what those are when manager Kishida makes his announcements when we return. For those of you who don't know, here is our friend Steve Rademacher. He hasn't been on tonight, but we will put him in here and introduce you to him.
This is Steve Rademacher, and I'd like to introduce you to my channel if you haven't seen it before. These are all the things I enjoy: sports, autographs, relics, non-sports Hall of Famers, pseudo-sports, Star Wars. That's my channel name and my name, and I would really appreciate it if you would come check me out and maybe even subscribe if you like it. Thank you for that for now, and back to your ball game.
Dragons are now winning 4-2 as the Giants have got themselves another run. Does look like we have a couple of changes defensively, and it does look like it is Kai Nakagawa who's going into center field. I'm just not sure who's moved over into left. There's a first pitch that swung on. It is lined off the glove of Mune. It goes to the shortstop, and beating it out at first is going to be Kiyomiya. We're going to have to see how they score that. It is going to be a base hit. That's bizarre. That's an interesting way to restart the ball game. Mune, the third baseman, ball was absolutely scorched, and he had to move. He was leaping to his glove side. He should have caught that ball. I'm surprised that they gave him a hit. Ended up knocking it down. The shortstop, Oshiro, picked it up and wasn't able to throw out Kiyomiya, but Kiyomiya gets a gift. Maybe that's why Yuma Mune's got a lot of gold gloves. He gets that home field scoring, but that is going to put a runner at first base. It's going to bring Yuya Gunji to the plate. Gunji tonight 0 for 2. He's bounced into a fielder's choice and has struck out, looking his 2 times up. As the lefty delivers a breaking ball that misses down, and the count's 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Fighters looking to break the deadlock here as they are batting in the top of the 6th inning. Fighters got their run in the 2nd inning after back-to-back hits to begin the inning by Reyes, Nomura, and Ishii. Counted where we are at, as it is the Buffaloes countered in the 3rd with one of their own. Back-to-back doubles. There's a breaking ball, waved that and missed, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the lefty ready to go again as he gets the sign. 81 pitches so far and counting. As the lefty Satani delivers, there's a fastball swung on. It is lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit, but it's going to be station-to-station baseball as Kiyomiya is going to stop at second. So a single here by Gunji puts runners at first and second with nobody out, and that is going to bring up the designated hitter in Franmil Reyes. At this point, it's got to bring the pitching coach out of the dugout for the Buffaloes. He's going to have a few words with his young right-hander. So that being said, hang tight, everybody. We'll take a little time out here. We'll be back in 30 seconds with all the action, but we do have a little pitching timeout. We'll be right back. They've left Satani in the game, and he's got Franmil Reyes to face here with runners at first and second and nobody out. And the first pitch from Satani is swung on and fouled straight back. Oh, Reyes was all over the pitch. He was on time, just not able to keep up with the pitch, that's for certain. So no balls and 1 strike here. If you would have been able to just get to that pitch, that could have been deep, deep trouble for the Buffaloes pitcher. So here comes the 0-1 pitch, and is Reyes waiting. As we said, Satani really works slowly. I'd be curious to see how this pace would pick up if they get to the bullpen. There's a fastball that catches the outside corner. Count now goes to 0-2, so Reyes in the hole here. No balls and 2 strikes. I have to tell you, some of the calls that you do see over time, the North American/Latin players that they don't get, that is pretty tough. So now you got to be looking again, and you got to be looking about good solid 2-3 inches off the plate. Here comes the 0-2. And the pitch on the way is a breaking ball that misses down. Count goes to 1-2 on Reyes. Runner at second is Kiyomiya. Runner at first, Gunji. There is nobody out here in the top of the 6th inning. Fighters hoping to break the deadlock here. Satani ready to go again. He gets that sign from his catcher, Wakatsuki. As the lefty works himself to the belt, here comes the offering. Now he holds again, checks the runner at second, and now he kicks and fires. There's a fastball that misses down. It's now 2-2 to Reyes. Reyes not exactly the biggest or the fastest runner. Chat Revoked says, is there a way to watch the action live? Yeah, if you got the zone, that's a way to do it. Brendan says, adjustments in my chair is pretty annoying. I got to apologize for that, Brandon. I'm going to have to, I'm trying to make some adjustments here. As I said, I haven't done the game. I got a different chair. I got a different setup. So apologize for the background noise. There's the fastball delivered. It is hit into right field, moving in and making the catch on the run is Sugimoto. But I do take that into consideration. That is important. So 1 gone here. I have to change chairs or something because it's maybe we'll throw it off the balcony. So that's going to keep runners at first and second with 1 out here to Reyes. And then we got Yuki Nomura. That actually might be more of a viral hit. Firing the chair off of the 3rd story of a building. So runners at first and second. Runner at second is, I could appreciate that, Brandon, and I understand that too. So we'll consider that there. There's a breaking ball that is swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. As I said, we've been out of the setup for a couple of weeks and just been doing some different things. And sometimes I don't always appreciate some of the, whether it be the noise or some of the other stuff that does go on in the background. But certainly the listeners who want to hear will pay attention to that as well. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is a fastball swung on. It is sliced down the right field line, giving chase into the corner is Sugimoto. Is he going to make the catch? And he's going to make the catch over the shoulder, and he fires into second base, and it's going to be a double play. Oh, my goodness. What a play by Yataro Sugimoto. He raced into the right field corner, made an over-the-shoulder catch, came up and fired it on 1 hop to second base. It looks like the big boss is going to come out, and it looks like he is not going to challenge. I don't think he's going to do it. Or is he? We're going to have to wait and see here. He didn't give his traditional signal of how he wants to challenge. Well, and that is going to be it. It's going to be a double play, and it's going to be 9-6, a bullet to second base. It retires Kiyomiya for the 3rd out of the inning. Not the best base running by the first baseman of the Fighters, but he is going to be gone for the 3rd out. And we're going to take ourselves a little time out, and hopefully we can make a chair change for you as well. So stay with me here, everybody. We'll be right back after this timeout. Well, we got one chair removed, and we're going to try to do the other one. So hang tight, everybody. We'll be right back after this musical timeout and carry on with the new chair. Welcome back, everybody. We've gone to our bullpen, and hopefully this will be a little bit better. It's certainly a different perch. It is going to be coming to bat for the Buffaloes in their half of inning number 6. It's going to be Mugatani, Haruka, and Nishikawa. As we mentioned, there was a change defensively made by the Buffaloes in that last half inning. We'll have to get a look at that one, as they did change the center fielder and the left fielder, but they do have a pitching change. Looks like Cato's day is done. That's a little bit of an early departure for him. So it is going to be number 48 into the ball game, and the first pitch is going to be delivered to Kai Nakagawa. So Nakagawa goes in for Mugatani. So he is the new player. So Mugatani's day is done after that awkward slide. There's a split finger pitch swung on and missed. The count is now 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. So the reliever for the Fighters is Saito, as he has come in here. And the pitch is a fastball that is swung on and missed. And down easily goes Nakagawa. He's out on strikes for the first out of the inning. So he is in the books for out number 1. And that'll bring up the top of the order in Taisi Haruka. Interesting that they decided to go to the bullpen in the 6th inning for Sato, considering that he was just cruising right along. He retired the last 7 batters he had faced. Well, it brings Haruka to the plate. Haruka is 1 for 2 tonight. He has driven in the Buffaloes' only run, and he takes a first pitch for a called strike, and the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. Saito delivers. There's a fastball. He blows right by him, although I have to say Saito on the food chain at 97. Rearing back and throwing gas. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Breaking ball swung on, and another one fouled away, and the count remains at 0-2 to Haruka. So no balls and 2 strikes. Our friend Brennan, hopefully that's a little bit better as we made the adjustment. TYN in the house tonight. Glad to see you around, as there was a fastball swung on and missed. And that was at 98 miles an hour. Haruka is down on strikes, second out of the inning, and both via the strikeout. And that is going to bring up the designated hitter in Ryoma Nishikawa. Our friend Chat Revoked says, I found you because I was looking for Sportsbet, found this stream, and then searched for a live stream. Yeah, live stream is a little bit of a challenge. It was DAZN that we were talking about. DAZN is, you probably have to have a VPN, because I don't know if DAZN's picking up the games in the States or in North America like they were the last couple of years. There's a first pitch breaking ball delivered for a called strike. The count's 0-1. Brennan said if I was picking both teams at the beginning of the game, the outset, I would have been leaning toward the Fighters. I just preferred the matchup a little bit better. I liked Cato as opposed to the starter in Satani. I know the Fighters are on the road. I would have leaned that way for sure. But now with Cato out of the ball game in a 1-1 game, I still think I would give the edge to the Fighters, because I think their bullpen's better than the Buffaloes. Here's the 0-1 pitch. Fastball that misses outside, and the count goes to 1-1. Yeah, so that's how I would probably look at it. 1 ball and 1 strike as the righty delivers a fastball that misses outside, and the count now goes to 2 balls and 1 strike. 2 gone here in the 6th inning. Back-to-back strikeouts of Nakagawa and Haruka. That's 2 balls and 1 strike to Nishikawa. Again, as the right-hander works himself to the set position, here comes the 2-1. He kicks and delivers. It's a breaking ball that misses way outside. The count now goes to 3-1. So 3 balls and a strike. And again, the righty ready to go. Saito delivers. Fastball swung on, grounded back off the pitcher's glove. It knocks the glove right off the pitcher. He picks it up. He races toward first and underhand flips it, and that is going to be a ground out 1-3 to end the inning. And now we got 2/3 of the game in the book, and I got to tell you, by all accounts here, it looks like that's going to be the end of the night for the pitcher for the Buffaloes as well. We're going to have a pitching change. We'll be back in just a few. It is a 1-1 game as we move to the 7th. This game's picking up a little bit of steam. We'll be right back after this.
Oh, hello. Oh, hey. Yep. I'm just sitting here listening to Freddie call another game here on YouTube. Oh, yeah, going really good. He's calling a great game. Really exciting. Lots of stuff going on. You're lucky it's commercial break right now. I got a second. Oh, yeah, of course I'm having a cold one. Oh, yeah, got plenty of videos coming up this week. You should stop in. Check them out. Leave a like, tell other people. But, Freddie's coming back. I got to go catch the game. I will check in with you later. You have a good night, buddy. Bye.
Our friend Brendan dropped a super chat in for $10, and we appreciate it, Brendan. Maybe if I would have been even more convincing, we could have been able to maybe double it. But I do hope you win, and that is when folks come in and do the gambling, we definitely are hoping that where you put your money ends up in a return. Sometimes it's not always the case. Well, we have an interesting case on the mound here. It is a pitching change. It's going to be number 19. This is Taisuke Yamaoka. For those of you who don't know Yamaoka, he was fingered for betting, if you aren't aware, but online betting in Japan, whether it's sports or whether it's casino games or whatever, is illegal. It's like going back to 1995 in North America where they had all this other stuff and you couldn't do it and you couldn't do that. And he admitted he didn't bet on baseball, but he was on offshore gambling sites, and maybe he was using a VPN or whatever it was. But that was Yamaoka as he has entered into the ball game. So he was amidst a lot of scandal before the season even started. And he's a diminutive right-hander. He's not a big guy. I don't even know if he's 165 pounds soaking wet. I have to do my conversions from metric into the imperial to figure that out. And the first pitch on the way is a breaking ball that is swung on and fouled away into the feet of Kazunori Ishii. So Ishii tonight is 1 for 2. He's single and he's driven in the only run for the Fighters. It's Ishii, Tamiya, and Yamagata to come to bat here in the 7th inning. So as the right-hander Yamaoka works himself to the set, here comes the 0-1 pitch. Kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. Is popped up into shallow left field. Backing up on it, underneath it, and calling everybody else off is the shortstop Oshiro. And that is going to retire Ishii for the first out of the inning, and that'll bring up the catcher in Yua Tamiya. So just back to some of the folks in the chat. TYN says, who do you think is going to make the playoffs, both in the Pacific League and the Central League? I personally think that the playoffs are pretty much all but set. I think it's going to be the Fighters, the Buffaloes, and the Hawks. And the way things are going now, you've got yourself a Hawks are the top spot, and I just think that they could probably, the way they're playing, they could close that out. So what we're seeing here is a preview of the 2-3 matchup. There's a first pitch fastball taken for a called strike, and the count's 0-1. Over in the Central League, it's a done deal with the Tigers winning it out. The only thing they're playing for is the seeding, and I think it's going to be the Giants and the Bay Stars, although the Carps seem to be hanging around a little bit. But I don't think that they're going to do have enough to get back in it, as that pitch is a breaking ball missing down, and the count's 1-1. And why Napoli says, nice, got hundreds of dollars on a pitcher who's a gambling, was it a gambling scandal? Yeah, there was a number of players at the beginning of the year who came forward and acknowledged that they were doing online gambling. The only one that was fingered initially was Yamaoka, as that fastball misses inside. Count goes to 2-1. Now with Yamaoka, I guess that's behind him because they weren't able to say that it was baseball. You go back about 7 years ago, there were 3 Emery Giants pitchers who got suspended, I think all for life. You guys can Google that up. Let your fingers do the walking. There's a breaking ball that misses down. It's now 3-1 to Tamiya. But all 3 of the pitchers, and I believe they were all relievers, ended up getting banned for life in the sport. And at least 2 of the 3 weren't making a lot of money, so they better been pulling a lot more money in on the gambling, I guess. Here comes the 3-1 offering as the right-hander kicks and delivers. There is a breaking ball taken for a called strike. The count now goes to 3-2. So 3 balls and 2 strikes. Yeah, you certainly, and you want to have some credibility and some reputable behaviors in the game, and certainly having guys throwing the game, it costs people plenty of money. If it's $300, $400, or $5,000, that's a lot of money. And there's a ground ball that's hit to the right side of the infield, and it gets through into right field. Yumatongu, I don't know what his decision-making process was on that. It looked like I thought he gave up on the ball a little bit too early, the first baseman of the Buffaloes. We get a look at the replay. The ball was grounded over to the right side. I guess maybe Tongu playing just a little close to the line. But he really didn't make the effort to go after the ball, but it is going to be a base hit. I would have thought that he might have had a chance with the pitcher getting over to cover. It's not like Tamiya is the fastest runner down the line. Well, that brings Sho Yamagata to the plate. Yamagata 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and he has grounded out in his 2 trips. Well, let's pump the tires on that one. It looks like we are going to get ourselves a pinch hitter. So it looks like Yamagata's day is done. It is going to be the regular shortstop in Tatsuki Mizuno. So Mizuno coming to bat here. Batting from the left side here against Yamaoka, as the right-hander works himself to the belt. And here comes the pitch. It is a split-finger pitch swung on and fouled away, and the count is quickly 0-1 to Mizuno. As we take a quick scan of the scores around the NPB, it is a 2-1 game for the Hawks over the Eagles. That's in the top of the 6th inning. And it's 4-3 for the Dragons over the Giants. One thing that I don't see a lot of, and maybe the folks who are listening can correct me, or maybe at least point us in the right direction. I don't see a lot of prop bets in the Japanese game, other than, your regular, maybe the over-under strikeouts, that type of stuff. But what I'm thinking of is along the lines of, is somebody going to hit, home runs? What are the chances of that? I haven't really seen a good place where we can pick off some of that stuff. There's a fastball swung on, lifted into left field, over underneath it to make the catch. As Nakagawa, that is going to retire Mizuno for the second out of the inning. It's going to leave it up to the center fielder and Ryota Isabata. Well, for Isabata, he's officially 0 for 2 tonight. He has struck out and grounded out. This is the player with a lot of wheels, so he would be a tough one to be able to do that. Chat says where he plays, there's a lot of props. As I say, I'm not 100% sure. I've seen some sites that are pretty thin in terms of the prop stuff. As the pitch comes in and there's a breaking ball that misses outside, count as 1-0. I think that's where basketball players in the NBA and other parts have seemed to get themselves into trouble. Or they're betting or whenever it has to be, hey, I'm going to get 6.5 assists in a game, take the under. I'm going to ball hog a couple of those last shots late in the game. I'm not going to get my assists. So 1 ball and no strikes. Remember correctly, a couple of the basketball players was the player for the Toronto Raptors who was doing prop bets. Take the under, leave the game at halftime with a sore groin or something. Can change your outcome. There's a fastball that misses outside. Count as 2-0 to Isobata. Could be a whole wild topic on the channel one night talking about the gambling, maybe getting some of the gamblers on and getting everybody to give us their 2 cents of the matter. Certainly the under is something that can be played often in the Japanese league. Overs maybe in the Korean and then the Chinese league. 2-0 pitch on the way. Fastball swung on and lifted foul into the seats over on the third base side. 2 balls and 1 strike it is to Isobata. As we said, Isobata's got a lot of wheels, but surprisingly, with 23 stolen bases, he's also been caught 9 times. You would think that would, just because his wheels would erase a lot of things. There's a fastball that is lifted foul down the left field line, and the count goes to 2-2. Chat says 13 props on this game. I don't know if that's props alone that you've played or if that's props in total. So 2 balls and 2 strikes as Isobata waggling the bat. He really stands close to the plate here. As Yamaoka ready to go, he holds at the belt. He checks that runner over at first. And they're coming under the hands, it looks like here. And they throw over to first base, and diving back in time is the base runner, Tamiya. Personally speaking, I think this is a great opportunity for Tamiya to run. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. If he gets thrown out, you got Isobata, the 9-hole hitter, who basically is a leadoff hitter, to come to bat to start the 8th inning. And on the flip side of the coin, if the base runner Tamiya steals the base, breaking ball swung on and fouled right off into the catcher Wakatsuki, then you've got an opportunity to drive him home. Obviously, scoring position at second base or greater. So either way, the situation here, look for the runner to be on the move. As Wakatsuki adjusts himself, gets the sign from the first base dugout, flashes his signs over to the pitcher, Taisuke Yamaoka. And here comes the 2-2. Kicks and fires. It is a split finger pitch swung on. It's going to be lined into right field. It's going to get down for a base hit. And that's going to send Tamiya first to third. And Isobata is going to get himself a double. And now the Fighters got something brewing here with 2 outs in the top of the 7th. A double off the bat of Isobata. Runners at second and third. And now it's slated to bring the top of the order in Shin Mizutani to the plate. So put your headsets down, everybody. Hopefully for Brandon, that the noise of that chair is long gone. As I said, it's going to have to maybe make an exit out the window. That brings the top of the order, Mizutani, to the plate. I'm curious to see if his night will be done. It looks like maybe it could be, as they have a pitching conference on the mound here as the pitching coach comes out to have a few words with Yamaoka. Runners at second and third here with 2 gone. Curious to see if this is still going to be Mizutani. Where is Chusei Minami when you need him? They're going to stay with the young right fielder. York Napoli says, please score. Well, got to say Mizutani's due. He's 0 for 3 tonight. He has struck out, flown to right, and grounded to short. As he bats from the right side here against the right-hander Yamaoka. He works himself to the belt. Here comes the pitch. Kicks and delivers. Fastball taken at the knees for a called strike. And the count is 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. If you just joined us, the Fighters are threatening. They're threatening to put a couple of runs on the board here and change the complexion of this ball game pretty quickly. 2 on, 2 out. There's a Tanny in the hole at 0-1. Here comes the offering from the right-hander. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses way outside. Oh, Wakatsuki wasn't fooling anybody. He literally had that pitch about 8 inches off the plate, and he tried to drag it in. Mizutani ready to go again. 1 ball and 1 strike. Top of the 7th inning. Fighters looking to flex their muscles. Here comes the 1-1. Pitch on the way. Breaking ball swung on and sliced foul into the netting over on the first base side. The count now is 1-2 to Mizutani. Our friend TYN had said about or asked the question certainly about who's going to make the playoffs and everything else. As we said, we probably can pretty much guarantee who is in the playoffs. Maybe that only one in the Central, that race for the last spot, could change over the next couple of weeks, but I think it would have to be the Bay Stars just laying an egg. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. As the pitch on the way is a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. That makes it over towards the temporary seating. Certainly in the Pacific League, this is a pretty good playoff matchup of what things could be to come in a 2-3 scenario. The only difference is the games would be played in Hokkaido. So 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner at third is Tamiya. Runner at second, Isobata. There's a Tanny in the hole. Yamaoka now ready to deliver his 21st pitch of the inning. The Buffalo reliever. Here comes the 1-2. Kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul. Count remains at 1-2 to Mizutani. So we'll do the 1-2 pitch all over again. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One thing I will say is that Yamaoka a couple of years ago was used as a starter. Then he had missed some time. I think he had a shoulder issue. Not really the same pitcher. I don't see him with a big-time out pitch. As we said, he's just a diminutive right-hander. He's not a big guy at all. Here's the 1-2. Pitch on the way. It is a split-figure pitch. Swung on it is looped softly right to the glove of the shortstop, Hoshiro, who makes the catch. And Mizutani is going to be gone for the 3rd out of the inning. So they threaten, but they don't score, do the Fighters. No runs in the inning. There were 2 hits. There were no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Your score as we now head to the bottom half of inning number 7. It is the Fighters with 1 and the Buffaloes with 1. Stay with us, everybody. We'll be back in just a few for the bottom of the 7th inning when we return after this version of Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Welcome back, everybody. It's going to be Shoma Kanamura on the hill, making his 25th appearance for the Fighters, as he has posted a 2.64 earned run average. He'll be the third pitcher used for Hokkaido. He's going to be facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters in Oda, Tangu, and Mune. So he has completed his tune-up tosses. We also have the defensive change at shortstop, as Mizuno has stayed in the game after pinch hitting for Sho Yamagata. Well, this brings Ryo Oda to the plate, who is 0 for 2 tonight. He's grounded into a double play and flown out to right field. And the first pitch on the way is a fastball that misses way upstairs. The count is quickly 1-0, so 1 ball and no strikes to Oda. Batting from the right side here against the right-hander, Kanamura kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on. It is grounded over to the right side. Fielded neatly. A nice play there by the first baseman, Kiyomiya, who throws it to the pitcher covering. Is Kanamura able to get over? That's going to go a ground out 3-1 for out number 1 here to start the 7th inning. That'll bring up the first baseman in Yuma Tangu. Well, for Tangu, he is 1 for 2. He's got a single and 2 trips. He was raced in a double play in the 2nd inning after he had the base knock, and then he had popped out to 3rd. So Tangu waiting here on the offering from the right-hander, who delivers a first pitch fastball that misses upstairs. The count is 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes to Tangu. There is a fastball that catches the outside corner, and the count goes 1-1 on Tangu. So 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, the right-hander working himself to the set. Pitch on the way. There's a split-finger pitch swung on and missed. The count goes to 1-2. Tangu way out in front. It looked like he had also taken a little something off of that pitch as well. Sometimes split-finger pitches, they will move from right-handers into the feet of the right-handers. And there it looked like it was more a little bit run on that pitch. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses way outside. The count now goes to 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. If you're just joining us, we appreciate you guys for hanging in. 1-1 is the score here in the last half of inning 7. Fastball swung on the line over the leaping, ahead of the leaping shortstop Mizuno. That's going to get into left field. So Yuma Tangu gets himself a 1-out single. That's going to bring up the third baseman in Yuma Mune. I have to tell you, when you were asking for predictions and I said that the Fighters have had their opportunities, especially late in the game here. If there is somebody on the Buffalo side I'd be worried about, it would be Yataro Sugimoto. He's had a pretty solid game defensively. He had that double play where he was able to gun down Kiyomiya at second base after catching the fly ball off the bat of Yuki Nomura. So that would be somebody that you got to keep your eye on in the way Sugimoto's been playing. As time has been called, and I'm going to step out and do the signage all over again. So that would be my potential pick for somebody to be a star of the game. Here's the pitch. Fastball misses down, and the count goes to 1-0 on Mooney. Mooney has started off the season slow. He pulled his average up entering the game tonight at 241. It's obviously dropped below that. As he is hitting at 240 at this point in the season, one would have to think that got to get his average just up a little bit more. There's a fastball swung on. This ball is lined into center field, and it's going to get down for a base hit. Isabata had raced in, and he had to throw on the brakes. He didn't want that ball to bounce over his head. So we got back-to-back singles here off the bat of Tongu and Mune. I put some runners over at first and second, and that'll bring up the right fielder in Yutaro Sugimoto, the aforementioned Yutaro Sugimoto. Well, for Sugimoto tonight, he is 0 for 2. He has flown to center, and he has flown to right. We got ourselves a timeout here on the hill as the Fighters have come on out to have a conference with the right-hander Kanamura. I don't think they're not even close for a bunt situation here. Sugimoto, they got to let him swing the bat, I would have to think. I mean, I've seen some pretty strange things. You don't want to take the bat out of Sugimoto and put it in the hands of Wakatsuki. That doesn't mean that the Fighters aren't going to be careful with Sugimoto. If I was pitching to him, I think I would probably try to induce some bad swings. You want to try to just nibble away at the corners. If you walk them, big deal. You got bases loaded, but you got a catcher coming up who's not exactly the strongest hitter. Fastball misses in the dirt, and the count goes to 1-1. 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Pretty good crowd tonight at the Kyocera Dome. We talked about it in previous streams. They really don't draw well during the week. The weekday games are a little bit off, but certainly the crowd tonight with the Fighters in town, a lot of seating in the upper deck has been filled. Here's the 1-0 offering. It's a fastball swung on it. It's popped up on the left side. Infield fly rule is in effect. Camping out underneath it is the shortstop Mizuno, and Sugimoto is going to be gone for the second out of the inning. That's going to hold the runners at first and second, and it's going to bring the catcher Kenya Wakatsuki to the plate. Well, for Wakatsuki, he is 0 for 2 tonight. He has flown to center and flown to right in his 2 trips. I wonder at what point, if at any point, you might decide to get your catcher out of the game. Go to your backup. So this is Wakatsuki batting from the right side here. Pitch on the way is a fastball that misses down. Count goes to 1-0. So 1 ball and no strikes. Buffaloes now getting their chance here in the bottom of the 7th with 2 out, runners at first and second. The Fighters had runners at second and third with 2 out, couldn't get the job done. Both teams have had their opportunities. But as I mentioned before, if it comes to the battle of the bullpens, I would be leaning toward the Fighters. There's a fastball swung on and missed. Count goes to 1-1. And just looking a little bit backwards on last night's game, if you look at the Fighters and who they used out of their bullpen, the Fighters last night, they were able to get 6 innings out of Kitayama, but they used Seiji Tanaka for 1 and Naoki Miyanishi for 1. I would think if the game went deep, they're still available to be able to pitch. But then I'd have to go back and take a look if either of them pitched the night before. There's kind of a rule of thumb. If you've pitched 2 days in a row, they're going to give you the 3rd day off in the bullpen usage. It's not like it was a blowout day or a bullpen day. So here comes the 1-1 pitch. Right-hander delivers. There's a fastball swung on it. It's going to be lined into center field for a base hit. Racing is Isabata. Oh, my goodness. And they're going to hold Tonga, but it might be the right decision as the throw was right on the money to the plate. So Wakatsuki's got a base hit. That's 3 singles here in the inning. Station-to-station baseball. That's going to load the bases. It's going to bring up the shortstop in Koji Oshiro. Or will it? Keep your eyes peeled here. Are we going to see a Kirby-Hashi sighting? Nice play there by Isabata, the center fielder. Really close ground on the ball. Didn't sit back on it whatsoever. Closed ground on it, and he picked another. He threw the ball into, threw a bullet right to the plate. And this is going to bring up Oshiro to the plate. The shortstop of the Buffaloes is 0 for 2 tonight. Struck out looking and grounded to second. And he, for whatever reason, he squares the bunt with the bases loaded and 2 out, and he bunts it foul. I know they like to bunt in the Japanese league, but bunting into a potential fielder's choice at any base, man, I don't know what they're thinking there. Oh, we got no balls and 1 strike as Oshiro kind of wasted that first pitch, or that first swing. Here comes the 0-1 offering. Pitch on the way. It is a breaking ball down. They're not going to check it. So 1 ball and 1 strike it is here to Oshiro. Bases full of Buffaloes. Don't know if this is what we had originally drawn up for the contest tonight. Both of these teams, the 7th inning is their nemesis to this point. Oshiro looking to trying to get a run across. And the pitch on the way. That is a breaking ball. Misses outside. They appeal over to the first base umpire, but they say he didn't go. It's going to run the count to 2-1. So 2 balls and 1 strike. Oshiro settles back in. He's waggling the bat. As the right-hander Kanamura really struggling here. 2 balls and 1 strike. Pitch number 18 of the inning coming up. Kicks and delivers. There's a breaking ball swung on. This is going to get looped into left center field. It's going to get down for a base hit. Over to cut it off. That's going to get a pair of runs in as both Tongu and Mune come across to score. A RBI or 2-run hit single off the bat of Oshiro. And that has given the Buffaloes a 3-1 lead. So me crowing about the Fighters here tonight, they had their opportunities. Opportunities lost for sure, especially in that top half inning. And Kenya Wakatsuki on over to second. Runners at first and second here, and we're going to have ourselves a pitching change as the big boss is coming out of the dugout. Not exactly what you're looking for here. Well, hang tight, everybody. We'll get a little timeout here for you. We got a pitching change, and then we'll come back and give it to you when we return right after this. So not the night for Kanamura. He couldn't get himself out of the inning. We'll be right back in just a bit.
Hey, where are you going? It's a pitching change. Come on. Sit back down. You don't go out there. Don't go get no food or anything. You've got a big decision. Are you going to throw in there Raleigh Fingers? Maybe Goose Gossage? How about maybe Mariano Rivera or Lee Smith, Dennis Eckersley? Who knows? It's a pitching change. Come on back. You know who I would pick for this? A nice, tall, cool one. There's my pitcher. That's my pitching change. That's a winning combination. Come see my channel. You know, every day is opening day. And according to Bob, I must be in the front row. Blah.
Welcome back, everybody. It is slated to come to bat. It is going to be Kai Nakagawa. It is runners at the corners as Wakatsuki came all the way around to third. So they've got runners at first and third with Nakagawa coming to the plate. He is 0 for 1 tonight as he has struck out in his only plate appearance after coming into the ballgame for Yusuke Migatani. The starter here in this one, or the starter for the Fighters, that was Kato. He went 5 innings, and then it's been a bit of a pitching parade. It was Sato, then Kanamura, and now it is Taisho Tamai who is coming into the ballgame. Well, Nakagawa stepping to the plate, ready to face the reliever here. With runners on the corners and 2 gone, 3-1, the Buffaloes are enjoying the lead here in the 7th. This is maybe where the game goes all but sideways. Just keeping our eyes peeled on the out-of-town scoreboard as well. As we were watching the Hawks are still clinging to a 2-1 lead. That's in the top of the 7th. 4-3 Dragons have the lead in the bottom of the 6th against the Giants at the Vantolin Dome. So here we go, back to the live action as Nakagawa steps in, ready to face the first offering here from Tamai. And the first pitch was a breaking ball that misses outside for ball, and the count is 1-0. Is the 7th hitter to come to the plate here in the inning for the Buffaloes. Right-hander again works himself to the belt. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Kicks and fires, fastball hammered foul into the netting down the left field line. Count goes even at 1-1. That's a 1 ball and 1 strike. Bottom of the 7th inning, 3-1 Buffaloes in the lead. This goes to show you how hard it can win in professional baseball. Looked like the Fighters were going to score some runs and open the scoring up on the top half of the inning. Couldn't do it. And then the Fighters pitchers got themselves into trouble in the bottom half, and they've already given up 2, and the Buffaloes are hunting for more. Breaking ball swung on, chop foul down the third base line. It's going to roll foul. It's going to run the count to 1-2 on Nakagawa. For my money, the highlight of the night probably is still that double play that Sugimoto was able to dig out of the corner, or to catch in the corner and then throw out Kiyomiya, who had gone too far around the bag at second base. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to Nakagawa. The right-hander Tamai getting his sign. Here comes the pitch. As he works himself to the belt. 1-2 on the way. Pitch coming. Breaking ball swung on, lifted into deep left field, moving back just in front of the track, but just not deep enough. And making the catch is Nomura, and that is going to do it. But the Buffaloes strike here in the inning. They had 2 runs on the benefit of 4 hits. There was no errors, and there were 2 runners left aboard. Your score, as we are now through 7 complete innings, it is the Buffaloes 3 and the Fighters with 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few with all the action right after this timeout on the Last Raps Baseball YouTube channel. We'll be right back in just a bit.
Hello, this is Eric Fox, formerly of the Oakland A's and Texas Rangers baseball teams. If you want to learn about Japanese baseball, see Coach Fred of Last Raps Baseball. If you want baseball instruction, see Coach Fred. If you want to learn about golf, do not go to Coach Fred. Fred, what kind of club is this?
At Last Raps Baseball, we know baseball. That's right, everybody. We know baseball, and we're definitely going to know some sleep at the end of this game because we got to catch up on it. Don't forget, tomorrow night it is going to be the Dragons and the Giants. Hopefully you guys can make it in for that one. We'll be back in just a few here with all the action. It is a 3-1 ball game. The Buffaloes have the lead. We'll be right back in just a few. Welcome back, everybody. We're just waiting on the confirmation of a Buffaloes pitching change, as I do believe Taisuke Yamaoka's night will be done. And that is exactly it. It is going to be Luis Perdomo who is coming on in relief. So Perdomo going to be taking over here, making his 44th appearance of the year. He's got himself a 3.19 ERA. So Perdomo has completed his tune-up tosses, and we're ready to go. And the first pitch is a breaking ball that misses outside. Count is 1-0. I have seen the Buffaloes, the relievers in the past, Perdomo and Machado, implode a little bit late in the game. There's a fastball taken for a called strike. Counts 1-1, but it does not happen very often. So if you are live betting either of these two teams, maybe that needle gets pushed the other direction. And there's a fastball swung on. It is lifted down the left field line. This ball is going to hook just foul. Count goes to 1-2. Our friend, God is Great, said, "Where you been? Did you go to Taiwan?" Absolutely. Just got back last night. Working on about 3 hours of sleep. Trying to get the days shifted around. I made a mistake in doing this one here tonight. It's been a little bit of a tough one. We do have some changes in the outfield as they have made some moves. Haruka, it looks like he's going to be playing right field now. He started the game in left. And for the Buffaloes, it is going to be Haruto Watanabe is going to take over in center field. So defensive replacements for the Buffaloes. Fastball misses upstairs. Count goes to 2-2. And God is Great says, "How was Taiwan?" Better than advertised, to be honest with you. I really enjoyed it. And in fact, I'll even go one step further. There's a fastball swung on and missed, and Kiyomiya's in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning. So Kiyomiya done for out number one. It's going to bring up the third baseman in Yuya Gunji. Our friend God is Great said, "How was it?" It was great. Really enjoyed it. I didn't make many videos at all. I didn't do much of it. I made a few. Some of them have made it up onto my own personal media page. There's a breaking ball swung on and lifted foul. Count has no balls and 1 strike to Gunji. Gunji 1 for 3 tonight. Also bounced into a fielder's choice and struck out looking. But I found it obviously different in a lot of different ways. But the city that I enjoyed the most was Kaohsiung in the south. Here's the pitch. Breaking ball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2 on Gunji. So from a personal standpoint, I really enjoyed Kaohsiung. And if you get the opportunity to go to the southern Taiwan, do it. Great experience. And there is a fastball swung on. It's grounded over to the right side. Tongu fields it. He throws a not very good flip to the pitcher covering, but they are still going to be able to make the play. That's going to go down as a ground out. 3-1 for the second out of the inning. So Gunji's in the books, and that's going to bring up Franmil Reyes to the plate. So Reyes coming to the dish. He is officially 1 for 3. He scored the only run for the Fighters way back in inning number 2. He has singled and he has flown to right both times. Pitch on the way is a fastball that misses inside, and the count is 1-0. I don't think, based on the body language of Kenya Wakatsuki that he was impressed by the call of the plate umpire. Pitch on the way. Fastball swung on line through the 6-hole into left field, and Reyes is aboard with a 2-out single. And that is going to bring the tying batter to the plate, and Yuki Nomura. Got to wonder at this point here if you got to think about bringing Manami off the bench. At least that's in my mind. Looking at some of the bench players for the Fighters, guys like Ariel Martinez, guys who can put the ball in the seat with one swing. They're going to stay with Nomura on the pitch as a fastball swung on, grounded softly to second. Fielded neatly by Oda. He throws to first. That's going to retire Nomura on a ground out, 4-3 for the third out of the inning. And that is going to do it here for the Fighters in their half of inning number 8. No runs in the inning. There was a hit. There was no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. Your score as we now move to the bottom half of inning number 8. It is the Buffaloes 3 and the Fighters 1. Stick around, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. This game here is starting to really push the needle toward those Buffaloes. We'll be back in just a little bit after this.
Hello, guys. Thank you for joining Freddie here on his baseball game. And I'm Steve Rademacher, and my channel is really all about everybody, including all my international friends. We have such stuff as non-sport packs from Canada, the OP Cheese. We have the Greek Freak. We have money from around the world. We have lira. We have yen. We have francs. We have pounds. We have Deutschmarks. We have all kinds of cool stuff like that. We even have some cooler things like Japanese women wrestlers and OPC baseball cards where I cannot read the back. We even have unopened material like the royal family, I know it's backwards, from London, England. Thank you for watching. Back to Freddie.
Appreciate you there, Steve. It is going to be the top of the order to come to bat for the Buffaloes as they look to add some insurance runs here. As they are holding on to a 3-1 lead, it is going to be Haruka, Nishikawa, and Oda. The 1-2-3 hitters in the batting order. They have not done a whole lot today. They are combined 2 for 9, although Haruka did drive in the first run of the game for the Buffaloes with a double. So the first pitch ready to come here as it's on its way, and it is bunted down the third base line, and it is just going to go foul. The count is quickly 0-1. The Fighters have stayed with their pitcher, Tamai, who came on to get the final out of inning number 7. So no balls and 1 strike to Haruka. Haruka, Nishikawa, and Oda, as we said, as the right-hander works himself to the set position. There's a fastball that misses down, and the count now goes to 1-1. So 1 ball and 1 strike. As the right-hander delivers the 1-1. Fastball taken for a called strike, and the count now goes to 1-2. So a ball and 2 strikes it is. Definitely getting into the deep water of this game here. Buffalo's looking to add to their lead. Here's the 1-2. Breaking ball swung on, grounded softly to short. Mizuno fields it on the run. He throws to first. Oh, he made that look slick. That's going to be a ground out, 6-3. He's gone for the first out of the innings. It's going to bring up the designated hitter in Ryoma Nishikawa. Well, for Nishikawa, he is 1 for 3 today. He's got a single in his 3 trips. He's also struck out and grounded out. As the right-hander, Tamai, ready to go. Nishikawa with that hit in the first inning. He's kept his batting average north of 300. Well above it. He's hitting .314 entering the fray tonight. And that is where he is with that knock earlier on. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded foul just past the bag at first base. Count quickly 0-1 to Nishikawa. Again, the right-hander working himself to the set. Here comes the pitch. Fastball swung on, grounded foul past the bag at first base, and now the count goes to 0-2. Our friend Chat Revoked says no more runs, only 4.5. Yeah, that would sewer you big time if you had two independent bets. First of all, if you got the wrong team, and then if you picked the under, that would be a big-time problem. Here's the pitch. It's a split finger pitch, swung on, grounded softly to third. Fielded neatly by the third baseman, Gunjiu, throws to first, and Nishikawa's gone on a ground out 5-3. Gone for the second out of the inning, and that is going to bring up the second baseman in Ryo Oda. Well, for Oda, he's 0 for 3 tonight. He's grounded out twice, and he has flown to right. We were saying at the top of the stream, he's really enjoyed himself a nice season to this point. The first pitch is a fastball swung on and missed, and the count is quickly 0-1. Oda hitting .295 on the year with those 8 homers and 47 runs batted in. Here's the 0-1 pitch. It's a split finger pitch, swung on and missed, and the count now goes to 0-2. No balls and 2 strikes. After the game tonight, normally we do a full roundup, but we're just going to give a couple little reports. As we said, only 2 games going on right now. All the rest are later starts. And there is a fastball swung on. It is hit on one hop over to the second baseman. A nice play backing up into the shallow outfield grass. Ishii fields it. He throws to first, and that is going to do it. Oda gone for the third out of the inning. And we're going to go to the top of the ninth. This is where the Fighters have their last chance in their last wraps. No runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left the board. We'll be back in just a couple moments. We'll call all the action for you when we return after this.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Hey, I hope you guys have been enjoying the game. My name is Hollis. I've got a YouTube channel called Another Hollis Build. I love baseball cards. I open up brand new product for you guys. I open up old stuff. I do breaks. I do auctions. All kinds of stuff concerning baseball. I'm Friars faithful, Padres to the end. I also love Garbage Pail Kids and my animals. I have a ton of animals. It's like a mini petting zoo here around my house. I also love my city. San Diego, baby. I take you all around the city and show you what's up. If you guys dig stuff like that, cruise on over and check it out. It's Another Hollis Build. If you dig it, subscribe. I'd really appreciate to have more follow me along on the journey. Hey, either way, you guys have a wonderful day or a beautiful, beautiful evening. No matter which one it is, make sure that you make it great, my friends. Big up Last Raps Baseball. Yeah, Freddie, let's go. One love and peace. Yeah, man.
Welcome back, everybody. Well, this is the Last Chance Saloon, as it is going to be Andres Machado coming in to close it off here for the Buffaloes. He is slated to face Ishii, Tamiya, and Mizuno. And the first pitch is a fastball taken for a called strike. The count is 0-1 to Ishii. Ishii tonight had a double and drove in a run back in the second inning. He's also grounded out and popped to short. Batting from the left side here against the right-hander Machado, who kicks and delivers. There's a fastball swung on and fouled away. Count now goes to 0-2. So no balls and 2 strikes. If you stayed with us from the outset, we're glad you did. There are some defensive changes for the Buffaloes. We'll see if we can get those for you. Looks like that Rio Oda has moved over to first base. It looked like Jordan Diaz has moved in over at second. I'll have to do a double check on that. There's a fastball swung on it, is grounded just foul past the bag at first base. So the count is going to remain at 0-2. That was a 2-seam fastball. Didn't really look like it had a lot of movement to it. Stayed inside, didn't really come across the plate, and I think Machado was very fortunate with that pitch. So no balls and 2 strikes. As the righty Machado works himself to the set position, here's the pitch. Split finger pitch, swung on and missed, and Ishii's in the books. He's gone for the first out of the inning, so 1 gone. That'll bring up the catcher in Tamiya. So fighters are starting to run out of this. Our friend Chat Revoked in here with a super chat. We appreciate you guys tonight who've come in and super chatted. We don't always ask. We never ask for it, but we do appreciate it. And I do appreciate everybody who had to put up with my squeaky chair earlier. This brings Chusei Minami to the plate. He is going to be pinch hitting for Tamiya. So the power hitting outfielder steps in, and the first pitch is a fastball swung on and grounded foul over on the third base side. So Minami in to hit for Tamiya. They need a base runner, do the fighters. And I wouldn't bat an eye that maybe we get an Ariel Martinez sighting at some point. So no balls and 1 strike as the right-hander Machado holds to the set position. Now he kicks and delivers. Fastball misses down and away, and the count now goes to 1-1. I'll probably have to say that I'll probably be more awake tomorrow than I am tonight. And as I said, that was the other thing, is I wasn't sure how this was going to fit in. We didn't get a whole lot of sleep. Been up for 22 straight hours, but we'll definitely get some shut-eye tonight as needed. Get the jet lag flipped around. 1-1 pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul, and the count goes to 1-2 on Minami. But the question was, how was Taiwan earlier from our friend God is Great? Yeah, you gotta, if you've never experienced it, it was definitely, I'm keep moving west in my travels. Eventually I'll get to China, but I have to say it was a pretty cool piece going to Taiwan. But Kaohsiung is the city that I really enjoyed in the south. If you get a chance to go check it out. So 1 ball and 2 strikes as the right-hander holds himself to the set. Pitch from Machado on the way. Fastball just misses inside. I don't know if I like the way that Wakatsuki framed that pitch. I think if he does a better job of receiving it, it might have been a strike. No, that was definitely inside. So 2 balls and 2 strikes it is. Again, the right-hander works himself to the set. And there is a fastball that misses inside. The count goes to 3-2. Chat says, do we do a lot of games? Yeah, most of the stuff is Japanese. We're going to get some major league games, and I think we are up at around 80 games this year. And obviously, I took a couple weeks. I went off the continent, headed to Asia for a little bit. And we'll stay with the NPB this weekend. We'll do some major league games during the daytime this week. We don't usually operate those at night. We'll do the Japanese on the weekend. So hopefully you can join us for some of those. So 3-2 on the way. Fastball swung on, grounded over on the third base line. What a play by Mune backhanding it. The throw is offline. So, here we go. The fighters have life. Throw was up the line. They're going to rule it as a hit. He made a fantastic play. He had to go backhand side, turned him right around, fired across the diamond. It's not going to be in time to get Manami. So he's got himself a single. It's scheduled to bring up Tetsuki Mizuno to the plate. So here you go. The Fighters have life. Now, they may want to go take a look at this because it was a great pick over at first base by Oda. And I don't know if they put the tag on the runner running down the line. He had to scoop it. It doesn't look like they're going to go up and ask for some help. So he must have known the answer. So this brings Mizuno to the plate. Officially 0 for 1 tonight. He came in to replace Yamagata back in inning number 7. As he swings through a first pitch fastball, the count is 0-1. So no balls and 1 strike. So everybody who was deplaning the Fighters a couple innings ago, now it's people are jumping back in. Here's the pitch. Fastball swung on and missed. Now the count goes to 0-2. And with Isobata on deck, I wouldn't bat an eye that maybe he would be the one pinch hit for him with an Ariel Martinez type. New York Napoli says yes for the Fighters, and our friend Chat Revoked says strike him out. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Pitch on the way. Fastball misses down, and the count goes to 1-2. I like Machado, but in some ways I can see why Machado is not didn't struggle or didn't stay in Major League Baseball. I don't know if he's got that 1-out pitch, and his fastball to me is not the out pitch. He needs to have something a little bit different he can deliver here. Here's the pitch. 1-2, and it is a split finger pitch that almost hits Mizuno. If you're Mizuno, you got to wear that pitch. If he gets hit by the pitch, he got 2 runners on. They got ice. Rub down, whatever you got to do. But if he gets hit by that pitch, that creates a whole different scenario. Mind you, if he got hit by the pitch, he might be on action for a bit on that area of the foot where he had to get out of the way. Here we go. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Fastball swung on and lifted foul down the left field line. It's going to reach the seats. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. Well, a little bit of drama here in the 9th inning, as the Fighters have got their chance. Mizuno at the plate, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Manami, the runner at first, 1 gone here. This is where you need this part of the batting order to turn it over for the top. Here's the pitch. 2-2 on the way, checks his swing and fouls it over the third base dugout off the netting. Count remains at 2-2. So 2 balls and 2 strikes. As Mizuno waits again here on the offering from Machado. He nods in agreement. Works himself into the set position. Here comes the 2-2. On the way, fastball just misses off the outside corner. Now the count goes to 3-2. I want to see that one again on the replay because that pitch looked pretty darn good. So Machado goes off the backside of the mound to adjust his hat and wipe the sweat off his brow. So here comes the 3-2 pitch. Again, digging back in is Mizuno. He's given him quite a battle. Waggling the bat. Manami gets his lead at first. Pitch on the way. Oh, he swung at ball 4. That pitch was in the dirt. He couldn't hold up. And he is going to be gone for the second out of the inning. So 2 strikeouts for the outs in the inning. Machado gets a break there. That's going to bring up the center fielder in Ryota Isobata. You just got to be disgusted if you're the big boss. That pitch was down in the dirt. If he would have had the discipline to be able to park the bat on his shoulder, he would have got himself a walk. But it is going to be Isobata stepping to the plate. Isobata is 1 for 3 tonight. He's got a double in 3 trips. First pitch on the way, fastball swung on and missed. That was at 98 miles an hour. So no balls and one strike. So Machado reaching back with a little bit of extra giddy up on his fastball. No balls and one strike it is. Right-hander Machado kicks and fires. Fastball misses up. They go to the third base umpire, and they said he went around. Oh, boy. So Isabata big time in the hole at 0-2. I guess whatever goes wrong could go wrong. When you think about it, it's been 17 and 2/3 innings in this series, and the pitching of the Buffaloes has held the Fighters to only one run. Who would have thunk it? Here's the 0-2 pitch. Fastball swung on, pounded into the ground, foul just down the third baseline, and the count remains at 0-2. Chad says, we're nerves for the pitcher, got lucky. I don't know if Machado is that nervy. They are decent when they're playing well. I just don't know if. And there's a fastball that swung on and missed. Oh, and that's going to do it. He strikes out the side after surrendering a one-out single. And that is going to do it here. Isabata down on strikes. No runs in the inning, one hit, no errors, and there was one runner left aboard. Your final score is the Buffaloes 3 and the Fighters 1. Hang out with us here for a couple more minutes, everybody. We'll be back in just a few. We'll wrap it all up for you, and then we'll call it a night.
Well, you've got to have an ace in the hole, a little secret that nobody knows. Life is a gamble, a game we all play, but you've got to save something for a rainy day. You've got to learn to play your cards right if you expect to win in life. Don't put it all on the line for just one roll. You've got to have an ace in the hole.
Welcome back, everybody. Our friend Chat says, I don't know anything about them, honestly. Just a gen out here. Well, I got to tell you, the Fighters are the better team right now. They have flirted with first place. I think they're a year away from actually capturing the league title. I still think the Hawks are there, and I still think it's going to be the Hawks that are going to get through into the Japan series out of the Pacific League. But, time will tell. We're going to have to wait and see how this all shapes up. But that is just my 2 cents of the matter. Well, tonight it was for the Buffaloes. They had 3 runs, 8 hits, and no errors. Fighters had 1 run, 10 hits, and no errors. The Buffaloes, for their part, they only stranded 3 runners on base. The Fighters, on the flip side of the coin, they stranded a bunch. They left 8 aboard in this one here tonight. The Fighters got things going back in the second inning when Franmil Reyes led off with a single. Then Yuki Nomura singled, and then Kaz Ishii doubled home Reyes with the first run of the game. That made the scoreline 1-0 for the Fighters. Buffaloes responded in their half of the third inning with 2 out. Back-to-back doubles off the bat of Mugatani, and then, of course, Haruka made the scoreline 3-1. And that was where the score stood until the 7th inning. With 1 out, Oda had grounded out. Then it was a single off the bat of Tongu, then a single by Mune after a pop-out by Sugimoto. It was a single by Wakatsuki to load the bases, and then Koji Oshiro hit a single that brought home a pair of runs. That ended up winning the ball game here for the Buffaloes 3-1. Well, once again, everybody, we appreciate you guys for popping in here with us tonight. We'll look at the out-of-town scoreboard, and we're going to call it a night. Just really quickly, as there was only a couple of games going on, at least at this time, there is going to be one game that will be getting going really shortly. That's at the Balluna Dome. Balluna Dome between the Marines and the Lions. The other game in the Pacific League, it was a 2-1 lead in the bottom of the 8th inning for the Hawks over the Eagles. That's at the PayPay Dome in Fukuoka. And in the top of the 7th inning at the Vantolin Dome, it's 4-3 for the Dragons over the Giants. All right, everybody. Well, once again, we appreciate you guys for listening in. Sorry for some of the earlier technical pieces at our end. We hope you had a great night listening in. We'll be back again tomorrow. It is Giants and Dragons tomorrow night. Have a great night, everybody, and we'll see you again then.